What's going on? 6 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans practice report came out yesterday where DeAndre Hopkins, Amani Hooker, and Traylon Burks did not practice, although Burks' practice was excused with a personal matter. Christian Fulton, Tier Tart, and Tajay Spears were limited, while cornerback Trey Avery and Dylan Radence practiced fully. Now, on the other side, the Chargers practice report also contains several starters, as Joey Bosa, Eric Kendricks, Austin Eckler, and Deion Henley did not practice. Chargers getting some insurance in the form of running back Jarrett Patterson to the practice squad in case Eckler does miss some time. But we got football tonight, Thursday night game tonight, with the Eagles and Vikings kicking off in Philadelphia at 7:15. Their practice report looks pretty grim, too. Vikings without their center, Garrett Bradbury, tonight. They also might be without Christian Darrisaw and defensive end Marcus Davenport. Both of them are questionable. On the Eagles side, cornerback James Bradbury is out, while Kenneth Gainwell and Fletcher Cox are also questionable to play tonight. Injuries mounting up all over the league, as Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll says their left tackle Charles Cross and right tackle Abraham Lucas are going to be hurting, and it'll be a challenge for them to play on Sunday, which brought them to sign 41-year-old veteran Jason Peters, who could start at tackle for the Seahawks on Sunday. It's never too late to come back to the league, Ramon. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning and a Friday Junior edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will is off and running on a Monday kind of feel earlier this week that we're ready to wash away. We're ready to get to a new football weekend today, and it feels good outside in Nashville, Tennessee. The weather is in the 50s. Throw on a half zip or a hoodie. It's football season. Act like it. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh, our producer. My name is Will Bowling. The losses of Sunday and Monday far in the rear view. Apparently, if you're Ryan Tannehill, didn't want to talk about it anymore. Good morning, everybody. How are we?
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I don't want
Good.
to talk about it anymore.
Right? Fine. We're not talking about it.
We're not talking about it. No,
Just
we're
joking.
definitely going to talk about it, Kayla.
By the way, if you're traveling at 5:30 a.m., and the roads are bare, yo, don't go under the speed limit.
Please, both of us having
Yeah.
this issue today.
Will and I, just behind some freaking slugs.
20 miles per hour. 20. 2-0. There was a time I could have run that. That's not
Right?
true. But
You're like outside running by the car.
genuinely.
Just to prove a point, just run by a car. I can beat you right now.
Yeah.
I actually saw a city official that had a little speed to his car yesterday morning. I was like,
you?
oh, okay then.
All right, salute.
Let me hop behind you then, my brother.
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. 20 miles? That's tough, y'all.
This guy, stopped at every
Yes.
green light on the
Yes.
way here. It's like, buddy, those aren't stop signs.
Yep.
Green means go. And then he stopped at a yellow light that we both could have made easily.
No.
It's fine.
Do you know what
I was a
I-
little later this morning.
Do you know what I hate too, you guys, is when they completely slow to a complete stop before they turn.
Yeah.
Like when you turn, you can still turn with speed.
Yeah,
Like you don't
can.
have to come to a complete stop and then turn
Yeah. I'll tell you what about
on a straightaway.
a traffic situation we have going on in Humble Hendersonville, man. Around the Sam's area, it's very busy around the Sam's. There's a gas station. There's all kind of restaurants. And they actually did a good thing. They put a roundabout in instead of a four-way stop. No,
Yep.
instead of a two-way stop on either side.
Tough.
I love the roundabout, okay?
Well, you're a smart person.
And that, sir,
problem.
is where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Okay? A roundabout, unless there's somebody directly coming in front of you, you don't have to stop.
Yeah, you just keep on rolling.
You just yield. You
Go around that bout.
slow into a roll, okay? You time it up. It's a feel thing. It's
Yeah.
kind of what we call it, right?
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
a feel thing. You know how many people I've seen stop at roundabouts now? I'm
It's
like,
insane.
A lot.
we need to be better than this. humble Hendersonville, okay? Simple Sumner. We got to know how to navigate the Sam's roundabout. You hear me? Because full stoppage is that should be breaking the law. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's not a four-way stop.
There
There's a
we
reason
go.
it's a roundabout.
There we go.
Round and round we go.
That's all I'm saying.
It's the way Dawn talks about it. I feel like we're on our Dawn Davenport bag this
I do
morning.
too.
We are in our
Yeah.
bag.
Talking about that we should enforce the minimum speed just as much as we enforce the maximum speed.
Hey.
Exactly.
Low key, it's more dangerous if you're going 30 under. Not than 30 over. 30 over is pretty bad, but still,
Yeah.
it's equal. It's equal.
You Jordan Addison out here? Like, come on, man.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. They should have been. Jonas, you're 100% right in F&M Bank chat. They should have been. You're not that guy.
That's right.
Yeah,
I was
they
thinking
should've.
way above that, and y'all 100%. They should have been. You're not those guys.
Well, it is at least easier to drive downtown now that the Broadway Bridge is actually open. Y'all would not believe how much the traffic has
Dissipated.
gotten better
That's good.
in downtown Nashville after the Broadway Bridge is open. I had no idea it was
had
going to
no
make
idea.
that big of a difference, and it has.
And so it's open completely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Nice.
65 past 65 past Goodlettsville is starting to open up too. Had to take RJ all the way. We had to take RJ up there after school yesterday. I was like, finally, they're getting like 5 lanes up there
Oh,
now.
whoa.
That's pretty
Yeah.
great, Lettsville.
Ah,
No, I'm not even laughing at that.
he's
one.
already up this
I'm
morning.
usually, Kayla, you know, I'm
Ready for
usually
dad
ride
joke.
with the dad joke.
You're not going
That
with
wasn't
that.
even close to.
Okay.
He's not even adopting the dog with that joke.
I'll stay in my lane.
Yeah, you're not even adopting the dog
Just
with that
go more
joke.
than 20 miles
Oh,
per
you
hour.
stay in your lane.
Thanks.
Hey, okay, you're reeling me back in.
That's what I think about. They pulled me back in. 615-737-1045 if we try to pull you back into the phone lines. And look, if you haven't gotten a chance to talk with us today, give your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill, the Titans. We've had loaded lines all week. Got some time to do that today. It's 615-737-1045. Coach Mack is coming up in about 15 minutes as we preview Titans and Chargers with him. Get the latest on what Arden Key did when you look at the film the best against Trevor Penning and the New Orleans Saints. He was pretty good in all areas on Sunday. We've also got Q's and K's of the Titans locker room, the Thursday 3, where, guys, are we good at gambling?
We might be.
I think we're kind of good at this.
I know.
Myself,
is that a good thing?
Kayla, and Robert are all 5-1. Ramon is 2-4, but a lot of ball left to be played. You're only 3
Is that
games
your
back.
phone over there? You're
Yeah.
dropping in disgust.
Toss the whole thing away, okay? I tossed the whole thing away.
It's okay. You made an emotional pick last week in
Yeah.
favor of Vandy, which, wow, what a sentence that is.
Oh. It was more so
For
in
your
not
Vanderbilt
favor
Commodores.
of,
You're right.
of the other guy on the other team.
If you know Ramon, you know he loves his doors.
Yeah,
He loves them.
he does.
Love walking through them.
That was a good
That
one.
was an actual dad
There you
joke
go.
right
Yeah, it
there.
was.
There we go.
It's a good one.
But yeah, I did make an emotional pick.
It's
And
okay.
For a while, I thought they were gonna hang.
I'm probably going to make one today, so
Oh.
potentially.
I'm wondering.
Could mean a
where
lot
he's
of things.
going with
Could mean a lot of
this.
things.
This week is so tricky because the teams I kind of want to pick, have bad situations last week, like
really?
Denver situation. Oh, I was asking Bert about Cincinnati. Like both of those teams. How do you even judge
Mm-hmm. I don't know
them?
if I'd touch that Cincinnati Ravens game.
I mean, at this,
That's a tough one.
what do you do with Denver? You expect, man? Well, I know we're
I
going to
expect
get
them
it.
to
What you
lose.
do at Denver is you close the bet slip and go to college football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because Russell Wilson
Yeah,
sucks.
that's
Oh, did
fair.
I say that? I'm sorry.
You did say that.
I did say
sorry.
that. Yep, we got audio on
Let me
that
sip
one.
my coffee.
We got audio on that one, Kayla. But yeah, y'all are good. I'm gonna catch up. Just know that. I mean, y'all jumped out of the
Right.
gate sprinting with this Thursday 3. We'll be all right.
It's a marathon.
Titans injury report yesterday. Traylon Burks did not practice due to personal reasons. Mike Vrabel said he'd be back. No issues there. Amani Hooker with a concussion did not practice. And DeAndre Hopkins did not practice yesterday with an ankle injury. More on that as we continue this morning. Christian Fulton limited with a hamstring. Death, taxes, and Christian
Thanks.
Fulton limited with a hamstring. Tajay Spears limited with a groin. T.R. Tart limited with a groin injury. Trey Avery, who was out last weekend, a full participant due to a hamstring injury. And Dylan Radins, a full participant as well as he gets back.
There's usually an injury trend every year.
Here, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
I felt like across the league, though, too, there's always one. Like the Liz Frank was one of them one year, and there's a few that jumped out here and there. The hamstring in week 1 has ruled the airwaves. I'm talking about they have absolutely ruled the airways when you talk about guys going down for that hammy, man. That 2-week gap between the end of the preseason to the start of the regular season, it may be something that the coaches have to adjust themselves to. That has been a bothersome injury for a few teams across the league, man. And how many did you just say this team had? 3? And that and growing.
Groin is an issue, too, like you said. Elijah Molden dealt with that all last year.
Yeah.
That prevented him from really playing.
Ooh, that's tough, man.
2 hamstrings, 2 groins.
Yeah.
Titans.
And, of
Soft
course, the
tissue.
team I cover, Cam Hayward got to have surgery on his groin. And Deontay Johnson went
Really?
out with a hamstring. It is that is a very interesting injury that's coming up. And I think it's that 2-week gap that they have between the regular season.
Ooh,
Yep.
wee.
Yeah, you got to keep running, and you got to keep those soft tissue parts of yourself active.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Keep them stretched.
I don't know what the answer is, but it does seem like it's a injury we're hearing more about around the league. It's also an injury you have to rest with.
You do have to
Yeah.
rest.
There's really nothing you can do other than ice and stim and ultrasound stuff, and then just rest.
On the light note, what coaches used to tell us when offensive linemen come in and say that they pull their groin, they were like, well, hell, I didn't know you could pull fat.
Oh, my gosh.
Like
Oh,
big guys
boy.
ain't got muscles.
5 too slow.
Oh, boy.
615-737-1045. We'll get to your phone calls as hour 1 continues coming up. But Coach Tate McGinnis joins us coming up next. A scouting report on the LA Chargers, courtesy of Titans Radio's head coach, coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will for Kellum Stem Cell Institute. I'm here to tell you guys right now, this is something you want to do if you want your body to feel good. That inflammation inside of you needs to go. And right now they have an exclusive September special where you can book a procedure in the month of September for a 10% discount to all of the Zone listeners. This is only for the Zone. Remember, mention the Zone and you'll get 10% off of the treatment that you'll get. And be sure to also tell them that Will and Ramon sent you out there too.
That's right, and this is a great deal courtesy of Kellum Stem Cell Institute. Dr. Kellum recently returned from Hungary where he worked with Olympic Team USA. He was also the team doc for the Boston Celtics and works with several major sports franchises and individual players. If you want to treat your body like a pro athlete does, this is what you need. Visit KellumStemCellInstitute.com. That's KELLUM, StemCellInstitute.com. 10% off any services booked in September, exclusive to Zone listeners. Just call, make your appointment, mention us, and you will get a free consultation. Go to KellumStemCellInstitute.com. Thursday morning on RKW, and we're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. This music means it is time to talk with Titans Radio's head coach, Coach Mack, presented by Two Rivers Ford, Middle Tennessee's most trusted local Ford dealership for 40 years. What's up, Mack? How are you?
Well, Kayla, Ramon, I'm great. Let's go.
Good to have you, Coach.
Week 2. Thank you, Kayla. Week 2, let's go. Got a lot to clean up. When you have a game like the Titans had, you can't wait to get into the next week and start preparing.
That's right.
It's usually how it goes. Wednesday's the reset, Coach Mack. Wednesday's the reset.
Yeah, Wednesday's a reset. I mean, Sunday if it's a away game, Sunday on the way back. If you lose, it's very, very quiet. And it's very reflective. Nowadays, with all the technology, everybody's watching the game. I mean, we're all can watch the game, on your tablets. And then, Monday is film sessions that aren't fun. if you don't play well, and it's got to be, you go into it. I've been in some of those debriefings. I flew with some F-16 pilots out at Luke Air Force Base one time, and whenever they debrief coming back off of a mission, they call it nameless, rankless debriefing. They go in, take all the stripes off, take your name off of your uniform, and just say what happened. Where are we? What happened?
Wow.
That's what you got to have on Mondays. I mean, it's got to be very, very honest and to the point. And then Tuesday you start Monday and Tuesday you start getting your body right, and then Wednesday you go to work.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because when you lose in week 1 after the lead up of the offseason, preseason, training camp, and preseason games and everything, right? It always sucks to lose the first one, right? But there's a perception, I guess, publicly with fans and just people who hadn't been in those buildings, as far as the meeting rooms go. Those meetings after losses, Coach Mack, are brutal. Can be brutal. As far as you trying to explain to guys how and why certain things happen. This isn't a cupcake type of league when it comes down to guys understanding what their job and role is. I just wanted you to elaborate on that. Like, that Monday meeting, everybody is up on the board.
Well, and look, you don't have to tell a professional athlete if you performed well or not. And you don't have to tell them if you perform poorly or not. They know.
Yeah.
We all know. And as coaches, you knew. But, it has to be – this is a grown man's league. And it comes with – and even if you win the ball game, there's still things that you have to fix, because you got 18 weeks and 17 games. It's a journey in the National Football League. There are no quick fixes, and there are also nothing guaranteed the next week, either good or bad. So, yeah, you've got to be able to bear up. Even as a coach, when you're an assistant coach and you go in and you have coaches' meetings with the head coach, and you have coaches' meetings with the owners, and you have all of those things. Look, if you don't perform, this is a performance-based league. And if you don't perform, well, then you have to be able to honestly look at it and then own up to it if you haven't done it, and then figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it's not where you're browbeating anybody. That's not what you're doing. Because these are your players, these are your coaches, and you got to figure it out. Figure it out, and it's all out there. It's all filmed. It's not. There's not any mystery to it. You can see it, but you just got to work and get it fixed. And then that's where the mental toughness of this league comes in. I've seen more people break out of this league as coaches and as players that couldn't take the mental strain of it. Sure. That's where the mental strain is, because criticism comes with this profession. It's the top of the food chain in the sports world, but also there's a lot that goes with it.
I think it was Rodney Garner, Tennessee's defensive line coach, said there are 3 things in the world that don't lie: the Bible, the mirror, and film.
Yeah.
Well, and Rodney's
about right.
Probably right.
Right.
And he's pretty right. And watching his players play, that's the way he coaches them too.
Absolutely. Coach Mack with us this morning here on RKW. Want to certainly get your scouting report on the Chargers and move forward to Sunday. But before we did, I just wanted to ask you about the offensive line's performance in New Orleans. I feel like the more we've reflected on this loss, that's one of the positives that's come out of this, and Mike Vrabel's talked about it. Offensive line had a solid debut for 5 guys who hadn't played together with live bullets flying very much.
Yeah, they're going to get better. They've got to get better. And there was the basic thing that, and again, I don't grade. I graded players for 31 years.
Sure.
I don't grade players anymore. I look at the overall what happened with the overall scope of going on. But you want to dial it down to them. Ramon was down there on the sideline. And Mike Keith went to him several times just asking him, how they're working together. The thing that gave him problems early on that always does, and especially with an offensive line that's coming together, is games. When they start for coming together live and it's third down and they're running games, especially if it's 3rd and 8+, which that's what we averaged out for 14 third downs, and they know that they can stick their foot in the ground and get in those track stances and start coming every which direction at you, and you've got to work, in sync and at the timing. But to me, when they were the game, and the game was very close the whole time, but when you're running the football, I thought they did a fairly nice job of it.
Yeah.
And so that's got to continue, and then the cohesion of the games has got to come along. But I didn't see anything glaring as to where you said, we had nothing happen like what Arden Key did to their left tackle.
Right.
Yeah. In other words, seriously, and that's what you look at, the back and forth of it. So, but there's room for improvement, and they will all say that, because if you don't win, nobody feels good.
Was saying that, Coach, too, as it goes for Ryan Tannehill, and we heard him speak yesterday, he's never really been out there in live game action with this new line in front of him. When you're kind of anticipating how your new front is going to be in live game action, do you feel like that's part of maybe the performance that he put on in terms of hesitation, maybe not, second guessing himself at times, just not knowing exactly how things go in a live game with a new front?
Yeah, I don't think he was. He's practiced with these guys the whole time.
Sure.
And you're right. It's a different speed and all that. But look, he's a veteran. He's been around it long enough. So, and I think he would, in his self-reflection, I'm not speaking for him, but he said immediately, I'm not happy with this. And you could see some hezzy in his play. And then, of course, there were some decisions. Now, I've never played quarterback in the National Football League, and I've been in it for 38 straight years. I've been around a lot of them. I've defended a lot of them and seen them. Yeah. And I've seen them, have good days. I've seen them had very, very bad days. And so it doesn't really matter. I don't care what kind of day any other quarterback had. I'm just, and Ryan Tannehill really doesn't either. He admitted this was not what I wanted. Yeah. And the other thing that he said, too, that I think is very, very poignant is, yesterday, after about 7 or 8 questions, which he answered, and then finally said, look, it happened. I'm done with that game. I've got to move on. And so that's what you have to do in this league. But he wasn't happy with his performance by any means. And he's veteran enough, and it goes back to what, Ramon and I started talking about. You've got to be veteran enough to stand up and say, hey, I didn't play well, and I've got to play better.
Yeah.
Coach Mack, moving forward to this week, they are met with a different rusher on this side of the ball. Joey Bosa, man.
2 of them.
2, yeah.
They got Khalil Mack on the other side, too.
The reputation of both of these guys suggests that they're going to have to put their foot in the ground as far as this offensive line. They had a good one this week. We need to do it again, Coach Mack. What type of rush do you expect these guys to see? And I'll even throw this out there for free. We're definitely going to see games off the left side as far as watching Andre Dillard and Peter Skoronski. They got to clean that up.
People get the same tape.
You got 3 weeks to cover it up.
And so here it comes. Yeah. So here it comes. And so you got to improve and be ready to look. They've got a good defense. Now they gave up 36 points.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they gave up 36 points. Now, so defensively, you're looking at this, and Brandon Staley still calls the defense. I don't care who he names his defensive coordinator. He's calling these defenses. And he got a head coaching job off of the job he did coaching the Rams defense when he was there with Sean McVay, when they, had all the guys on defense that were pretty well set there. So they're going to find out ways to try to dent what's going on. All right. Yeah. And because we were in our ball game in New Orleans was a completely different ball game. It was a complete 180 from that game they were in against Miami. That was a track meet. I spent 3 hours breaking that game down. That was a track meet. It was going back and forth. And, both secondaries in that game, probably heads still spinning a little bit from what went on in that game. So, to your point, though, yeah, we're going to see games. And the thing that we have to be able to do, Ramon, I mentioned it earlier just a little bit when I was talking with Kayla with her question. You had 14 third downs and your aggregate was 3rd and 8+.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do that because that puts everybody in a bad spot. and you talk about protection.
Yeah.
You're just inviting people to run games and to bring anything that they want to bring with that. So our first and second down's got to be better, and so all of that works together, as you well know.
The only time that's ever fun is when your quarterback is just reeling and dealing, Coach Mack. And that's rare, too, to be in third and long situations and your quarterback be on fire, because most times if the quarterback is on fire, he's probably going to throw it on first down, probably, too. You know?
Well, and if you throw – and the other thing that happened in the ball game early on, I mean, you were down on the sideline, and you saw all the procedure penalties, because it was fairly loud, which no surprise down there. You know, but you can't be playing your opponent and also have to end up trying to play yourself too.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening early.
And also this too, considering we're speaking about protection, and 1 or 2 plays, okay, from Ryan Tannehill, that's a touchdown that wins the game. We assume that anyway. We don't know how Saints was going to react to, them scoring on the flea flicker and the one to Tajay down the sideline, Coach Matt. But it wasn't all bad. The protection was there. The scheme was there, Coach Mack.
Oh, sure it was.
You don't run away from that. I'd almost suggest this week, and I want to ask your opinion as a coach, do you still buy into the idea that, look, he got to find his touch is what I'm asking as far as Ryan Tannehill's concern on those plays.
Well, I mean, he wasn't accurate, and then what was happening when he was getting rushed? I mean, a couple of times he threw to D-Hop, and they started leaning towards D-Hop in the back end, not only with the underneath coverage, but with the safety. They started leaning to D-Hop because you got a dude, you're going to target the dude, but if you put yourself in those situations where it's going to take longer for the route to develop, again, I'm speaking from a lifetime defensive coach, that's what you're looking for. Now if it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, where you're in conflict, it's a lot different. So anyway, yes, and he had and there was 2 scheme plays that were open that he missed, and as vital as points were in this game, that helped.
I talked to Christian Fulton yesterday, who was dealing with a bit of a hamstring injury, and Sunday came back in the game, obviously gave up that big play at the end. And I said, look, you guys said last year, all through the year, you wanted to eliminate those X plays, right? That was the big part of the secondary, the back end, eliminating those X plays. They didn't give up a ton on Sunday, but the ones they gave up, I felt were big. In a game like this against a guy who can sling it, how do you kind of assess that in terms of this secondary and how they clean that up in this amount of time?
Well, you talk about X plays.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chargers gave up 14 of them last week. 14.
Yep.
14 of them, which is a NCAA, NFL, Division II, Division III,
TSSAA.
and
It was like a college offense.
I mean,
for
it is.
Miami.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you can't win the National Football League. Kayla, you bring up, explosives are one thing. Explosives, third down success, and turnovers. In any NFL game, you just look at those 3 things. If you pull out the game sheet and you just want to check and look at it, those right there determine a lot of what goes on. And in a 16-15 ball game, just one of them. Okay, just like the 2 that Ramon is talking about that were up each separate sideline that we missed. Either one of those would have made a difference. So explosive plays are deadly in this league, because what happens is most defenses are good enough in the National Football League from 1 to 32, wherever you rank, that to make 12, 13, 14 play drives is hard. Sooner or later, somebody's going to make a play. But an explosive play, and coaching defense, you always write on the board, the ball travels further and faster through the air than it does on the ground. Keep everything in front of you.
Yeah.
Coach Mack, we talk about wide receiving groups at times like 4x100-meter relay teams. This Chargers team might just be a basketball team, as big and physical as they are at the wide receiver position, with Frog, Quentin Johnston.
Frog.
You've got Josh Palmer, Vol, in there as well. I mean, Donald Parham and Gerald Everett as well. You've got Keenan Allen, obviously, who needs no introduction. This has to be one of the biggest and just longest wide receiving groups in the NFL.
And the Chargers have been like that for quite a while.
Yeah.
When you look at them just historically, I mean, they've been like that. You can go down through and look. But anyway, yes, this group is. They got length to them. Keenan Allen is one of the better nuanced receivers in this league for a long, long, long time. And you mentioned Parham, and nobody even knows who Parham is except the fact that, I mean, he's a low post player. I mean,
red zone guy.
This dude's,
Him and Ron Slater go at it is what you're saying, huh, Coach Mack? They'll go at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he's a 6'8" dude that brings something to them. But Kellen Moore, their new offensive coordinator this year, came from Dallas. All those Ezekiel Elliott years has leaned on the run. Mm-hmm. They ran for 234 yards this game. They ran for 234 yards. With Eckler, with Joshua Kelly. Now, I don't know whether Eckler will play or not. Who knows? Now we're into that part of the National Football League where every week everybody's going to look at the injury report because these guys are going to get hurt playing. That's just the life the way that it is. Yep. But the fact that Kellen Moore, he's already put it on tape that he wants to lean on this run game, and 234 yards in your first outing is pretty significant. And they lost the ball game, plus throwing the ball for 225. So you talk about the big receivers, yes, but these guys become even more of a weapon if they can get the run game going where it puts the defense in conflict of playing run-pass 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Coach Mack, there was a clip that came out on social media yesterday of Derek Carr telling, what was it, Rashid Shaheed. I see something, basically.
Well, he's got some speed, too.
He got some speed, and he used it in that third down situation in New Orleans against Christian Fulton right there.
Yeah, he just took off. It was just a takeoff route, and I'm sure that anytime you do something like that, and I don't know, I don't see social media, but I would assume that Derek Carr said, "Hey, get ready, I'm coming to you."
He did.
Yep.
He
okay,
did.
well, that's kind of. I've done this a minute.
But that's that's being stuck between a rock and a hard place as a defender. And Christian Fulton's defense. Now, I know a lot of people won't want to hear that, but you play the sticks in those situations. Nobody really goes deep in those situational moments of closing out a game beyond the sticks, Coach Mack, on third down.
Yeah, but you don't settle your feet.
Okay, there we go. That's the answer I'm looking for.
No, you never settle your feet. Even though you're playing the sticks, you're always and even if you're playing the sticks moving up or you're playing the sticks, you motor and mirror. Because if you settle your feet as a defender, there's two things as a defender. If you ever stop your feet, okay, you got problems. No matter what position you're playing, you can never stop your feet. You got to be under control, but you've got to be motor and mirror, or a slow correct decision on defense in the National Football League is wrong.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Because things move very, very fast.
You'll step
so
behind.
I'm sure that's what Christian Fulton would say. Shouldn't have stopped. Shouldn't have just settled my feet.
Right.
Coach Mack with us Thursday mornings at 6:20. Coach, it's great to get our energy's up. We just talk ball before 7 a.m. We feel good to have about a third of the energy that Ron Slay had yesterday on 3HL. That's a good thing. We'll take that.
No. Everybody in Davidson County needs to plug in to Ron Slay's energy.
Absolutely.
Ron Slay is like a major electrical port for all these EVs running around.
Yeah.
You need to plug in to
volts.
Ron Slay, and you will be feeling a lot better about yourself.
And he's in the chat already, up and at him.
Here we go. Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
Thanks,
Coach Mack, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Coach Dave McGinn is presented by Two Rivers Ford. More coming up next, where Alabama is copying Tennessee in a weird way off the field with their football team, and it's a little concerning for their reading comprehension. Coming up next.
It's football season, and it's time to switch to sports as I get my words together. I made Coach Matt crack right there, man. But I'm here to tell you this. I might have been fast in my word, but Zen Sports is the fastest growing sports book in Tennessee, changing the betting bonus game with their cash rewards program. When you sign up for Zen Sports with the referral code, you can earn a welcome bonus that gives you 5% cash back on your total betting volume for the first 15 days of betting. 5%. Think about that for a second, okay? That's straight cash right back to you. On Zen Sports, keep betting and keep earning also. Earn up to 3% of your betting volume every month with their cash loyalty programs. What other sportsbook is rewarding you every month with cash, not credits or points. So stop wasting your time and money on other sportsbook when you could be earning real cash rewards with Zen Sports. Download today on the App Store or at zensports.com. Your wallet will thank you later. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Thursday morning continues on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up, you'll hear from Ryan Tannehill, who shut down questions about the Saints twice yesterday, speaking with the media. 615-737-1045. I'll get to your calls in a moment. But first, guys, this courtesy of Jalen Key's Instagram story, Alabama player. Alabama is eating gator this week in their dining hall because they're playing South Florida. Can anyone please tell me what the mascot of South Florida is?
South Florida Knights?
I believe it's the Bulls.
Bulls.
Thank you, Robert.
Bulls.
They should be eating Bulls balls.
They should be, wow.
Well, they should. Those
They
are
should be
real.
eating anything but gator. I don't know why does Alabama want to be like Tennessee so much?
They will.
We talked about this the other day. Maybe they were listening.
That's false.
That. Why are they choosing gator? That's
Right.
not a gator. Like that has no significance whatsoever. It does because they're in Florida. But what are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, and look, Bulls things are a thing. That is, people eat that. So if they had any, you know what, they'd be eating that.
They clearly don't have them, Caleb, because
No,
they chose
zero.
to make a fake rivalry out of something right there, a fake moment out of it. That makes zero sense to me.
It makes even less sense the fact that Alabama plays at South Florida this weekend.
They go to South Florida?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Correct.
Or is Alabama losing their way?
No,
I'm going to say they are.
they're not. This has nothing to do with that.
I want to stoke people up today.
Did they
I
take
know
the
you did.
wrong turn?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, Bama, welcome to purgatory, okay? This is where you're trying to figure out what you are as a university. You ever started your season out 0-1 or 1-1, huh, Bama? Love that.
They have before.
Love that, Will.
Most of the time that you were playing in Tennessee, they were that bad.
They were that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till they start buying Tennessee alumni with license plates again.
Could it be my team?
Yeah, couldn't be my team out here switching sides like that. Go through college football hell is what I'm asking from
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Look, I was there when it was hell.
You know what I'm saying?
I was there, and it was hell.
Yeah, I know. Them posting the alligator though, that's kind of wild.
They didn't post it. It was a player that posted it on his story.
Is he not a
But it's
representation
like,
of
be
them?
better.
Well, no, he's not the team officially saying it.
Will, let me have this moment. Let me have this moment.
He
Will.
wants to hype
It's
this
Florida
up.
Hate Week, man.
It is
Right.
Florida Hair.
At least they're eating gator for us, okay? That's cool. I'll take that.
Yeah, maybe they're supporting Tennessee.
There
Maybe
you
they're
go.
supporting Tennessee.
They're being like, all these fans that support their conference.
Yeah.
Love it.
Or, the fact that, hey, this is a payback for Henry To'oTo'o. Well, we already got that because we beat him last year.
We did. That's right.
Isn't he injured anyway?
Is he already
I don't know.
injured?
I don't
I was
know.
guessing.
No, he started in
Oh,
place
did he?
of
I was
Blake
gonna say.
Cashman for the
Oh,
Texans
okay.
last week.
I
I
was
think
wrong.
he had like double-digit stops for the
Good
Texans
for
last week.
him.
Okay.
Good for him, man.
Can he stop a slant?
Oh, no.
No
Yet to be
sign that he
seen.
can stop a slant yet.
No scenario of seeing that happening again.
615-737-1045. The number. Uber King is in Nashville. Up first with us this morning. What's up, Uber King?
What's up, y'all?
Not much. Good morning.
Man, I know y'all talking about Tannehill. I'm going to tell you right now, dog, I haven't heard nothing from Tannehill this week that just makes me want to just be like, okay, Tannehill. When you say you don't want to talk about it, I tell you what we can talk about. We can talk about you getting on the bench, and then you say you don't want to hear no more about it. Well, we don't want to see no more interceptions. We want to see a touchdown. All right, man, I go to all the games. I'm tired of losing, man. All I got to say is that if we don't start using Henry like we should use him, we're going to lose him, baby. And then he's going to come back and start stiffing armor and breaking our necks and knocking us back to Pluto. So either we start using what we got to get what we want, or we're going to be just like we was last year, losing all these games at the end of the season. Tannehill got to get on his – this is his last year to prove himself.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing down. Dude, if you don't prove that right now, ain't nobody want you. We should have gave the contract that you got should have went to Derrick Henry. And then we would have got rid of your dumb, put your hands on your head tail last year. That's all I got to say about it. Sorry.
There we go.
Drive safe, Uber King.
Drive- Uber
safe,
King in
Uber
Nashville.
King.
And we're not guaranteed to have Derrick Henry back here either.
This is the
It's
biggest.
crazy.
This got to be one of the biggest divides between the same side of the ball I've ever seen when it comes down to 22 versus 17, man. This is a constant. It is. Do you want to see Tannehill like thrive, or do you want to give it to Derrick? Because the conversation I'm seeing on my algorithm yesterday was, oh no, we do need more of Tajay Spears.
One day I want to see Uber King back out in the wild like it's the Cash Cab.
Yeah, I love that show.
Great show.
Can you
Cash Cab is
imagine
great.
riding in the back of his cab? And he's like, hold on, let me, I got to make a call real
I got to
quick.
call into a radio station real quick.
Yeah,
Hold on.
they need to tell Tannehill to take his head. Sir, I asked you not to talk, and they were
Right.
hollering on the radio.
Or they were arguing like
preference.
about it, like in the Uber.
His preference, man.
Uber King is a regular on Titans Talkback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tannehill. We're definitely going to get to that conversation for sure, man. I hate it for him because this week right here is going to be a challenge in itself, too.
Yeah.
He's going to be asked to throw the ball a good bit, I'd
at
expect
home,
this
too,
weekend.
might you
at
add.
home.
In front of all
Because
the
Justin
fans.
Herbert is slinging it around.
Mm-hmm.
The positive is you're not going to have a ton of Chargers fans here because there aren't a ton
Yeah.
of Chargers fans.
Well,
There
that's
aren't.
true. No, you're right, Will.
It's probably the smallest fan base in the NFL.
Why are you like this?
It is.
They
You are
lost
correct.
some, too.
Their
of
own
y'all.
city doesn't even really care about them.
You talking about San Diego?
And then the
LA.
city they left doesn't really care about them either because they left. I don't know.
Because they wouldn't build a freaking stadium.
They
for
wouldn't build a stadium. We did go there one time, and it was more of our fans than it was of
It's
theirs.
gross.
It's
That one in
always
San
like that.
Diego was gross.
Yeah, I've been
it
out there, too.
was. You've been out there too.
Mhm.
That is true. I was gonna try to defend them, and it's not even defendable. It's
Beautiful
not.
city.
Yeah, great city.
Which one? San Diego.
San
or LA?
Diego.
San Diego.
San
Petco
Yeah.
Park is awesome, too.
I
Yep.
love San
One of the
Diego.
best ballparks.
Yes.
They don't care about sports there, though, because look at what they have to do.
Well, they
right?
care about this baseball team. Though,
No,
the
they do.
Padres.
They
When
love
they're
their soccer
good.
team, too.
When they're good.
Yeah, when
They're the
they're
new
good.
MLS city.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
San
right.
Diego is?
That's a good city for soccer.
And they've got a great stadium for it, Snapdragon Stadium, that they share with San Diego State.
Okay.
Snapdragon.
Pop.
Is that a-
Snapdragon Stadium.
Is that a pop? You said
Snapdragon Pop.
What?
snap, crackle, and pop. I was about to say, where did I go wrong here?
Did not know.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I knew ball.
Love it.
Brand new stadium, the San Diego State just built with 35,000 seats.
Dang.
It's a good one.
Only 35,000 seats.
It's San Diego State football.
Yeah.
Brady Hoke is their head coach.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I got to start learning ball.
We got to start. We'll have a San Diego State minute every
Yeah.
morning.
Stop.
615-737-1045. Coming up in hour number 2, Ryan Tannehill was at the podium yesterday, and he was tired of taking questions about the Saints, but I was okay with it. Tell you why coming up next.
What's going on? 7 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans practice report came out yesterday where DeAndre Hopkins, Amani Hooker, and Traylon Burks all did not practice, although Burks' practice absence was excused with a personal matter. Christian Fulton, Tier Tart, and Tajay Spears were limited, while Trey Avery, Dylan Radens all practiced fully. Also, according to Aaron Wilson, the Titans are bringing back Jaquez Patrick to the practice squad today, pending a physical. Now to the other side, Chargers practice report contains several starters, as Joey Bosa, Eric Kendricks, Austin Eckler, and Deion Henley all did not practice. Chargers also adding some insurance to their practice squad in the form of running back Jared Patterson. Thursday night game tonight, Eagles and Vikings kick off in Philadelphia at 7:15. On the Vikings side, they're going to be without center Garrett Bradbury, Christian Darrisaw, their left tackle, and Marcus Davenport, all questionable. To the Eagles, James Bradbury and Kenneth Gainwell all going to be out, with Fletcher Cox questionable. Injuries mounting up all over the league, as Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll said left tackle Charles Cross and right tackle Abraham Lucas are hurting, and it's going to be a challenge for them to play Sunday, leading to them signing 41-year-old veteran Jason Peters. He could start at tackle for them on Sunday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven a.m. in Nashville on a Thursday morning as we welcome you in to RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, or Twitch. You can join the conversation in our F&M Bank chat. Talking Titans with you, and we'll hear from Ryan Tannehill and what he had to say at the podium yesterday, coming up here in just a moment. 615-737-1045 is our number. We've got a full crew in studio. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. And Ramon Foster is ready to see the Vols wear all white, which was just announced on Saturday in the Swamp.
White Walkers out here, man.
That's what they were wearing in 03.
If they're going to wear, what are they wearing? All blue? Whatever I think Billy Napier suggesting the crowd wear a blue eye. I'm hoping we give them the blues, man. The uniforms, though, is always very unique in these type of things. I do think there is some strategy into it, picking all white, going into Florida and situations like that. I like that type of stuff, man. I do like that type of stuff. Gets the kids going, too, Will.
It does.
Kayla,
It's too good.
It's too good.
Injury report yesterday for the Titans. Traylon Burks, Amani Hooker, and DeAndre Hopkins did not practice. Burks was personal reasons and not injury related. So expect him to be back out there today. Christian Fulton, Tajay Spears, Tier Tart were all limited. Fulton with hamstring, Spears and Tart with groin injuries. Trey Avery, who did not play on Sunday due to a hamstring problem, he was a full participant in practice, as was Dylan Radens. But the real headline yesterday was Ryan Tannehill, speaking to the media on two separate occasions, asked media to move on from questions about the Saints game in Week 1. This was the opening exchange he had with reporters to begin his press conference.
Yeah, there's certain areas where reads where you're picking a side, picking a matchup, and you're not going to be able to see the other side of the field. It sucks when that happens, right? Whenever you are on the wrong side, but you see it happen across the league every week. I'm watching multiple games, and it happens, right? It's just part of playing the game. Feels good when you're on the right side, and then obviously sucks, when it happens on the backside.
Are there other times where there was maybe a check down opposite what you were looking at that maybe you could have gone to?
Man, you guys are trying to break down every play of the game, and there's a lot of areas where I want to be better and look forward to be better this week.
So that was the first exchange.
Yep.
Can hear him starting to get a little frustrated. And then the second one, where he basically completely, after a reporter's question, says, nope, we're on to Los Angeles, or in his words, on to San Diego.
We did some good things, and then obviously some areas where we want to be better. But I thought those guys battled. We knew going in that they were a good front, strong front, and be no different this week. Obviously, with Bosa, with Mac, some big guys inside, a good secondary, right? That's very active. Got some length outside with 43 Davis. J.C. Jackson obviously has had a good career so far and made a lot of big plays and got his hands on a lot of balls. Derwin James in the secondary, a guy who's very active. He's coming in a lot of pressures. He's efficient and disruptive when he comes on those pressures, and obviously has the range on the back end. So you look at the defense as a whole, and you see a very capable group with talent all over.
Ryan, did you know prior to the fourth down field goal to make it 16-15, did you know on that third down that they were going to kick on fourth?
No.
So did you think you had 2 plays to get the first down?
Guys, I just want to move on to San Diego. I'm not going to answer any more questions about what happened Sunday. What happened Sunday happened. I'm not happy about it. No one in this building's happy about it. But at the end of the day, it's over. We can learn from it. We can move on. And if you have any questions about LA, I'm more than happy to answer.
So that was Ryan Tannehill yesterday. Clearly a bit out of his comfort zone in asking reporters not to ask about something. That's not common for him.
No, I mean, I've seen Ryan after a lot of not great games, not just all put on him, after that loss to Kansas City in the playoffs. But this was by far, I think, the most irritated and kind of like wanting to move forward type of situation, which, guess what? It makes sense because it was his worst game of his career. And I'm sure he would agree with that. He just... When he asked the questions, or when the questions were asked and he answered them, I think people wanted to just get a little more detail of like what went into why he did the things he did, and he just wasn't going to give those things. And at some point, I think he was just like, we're moving on.
If he had a media coach that walks him through those things, a PR, what do you call it, a public relations person that he had working with, they probably give him a grade on that one, D or even an F. That response, man, wasn't the response that in that moment of you pushing back on the media, appropriate. I'll say this, it's his press conference. He's up there controlling the podium. He can answer however he wants to. That didn't shine good light on Ryan, though. And for a guy that I think that's trying to take control of his career and this moment this week and last week too, I think that was a bad look for him. I get why he did that, because as players, they tell you control what comes out of your mouth up there. You can control the answers that you give the media and how you answer them too. It just looked as if they hit a nerve, and if you guys, Caleb, wanted to actually dig deeper, y'all could have yesterday. Y'all could have, in the sense that you knew you had them reeling. And that right there isn't a great response from Ryan Tannehill. And I thought the questions were fair. I would have navigated that one, and me, of course, sitting in the studio saying this, but I've had questions asked like that before. He could have navigated that one a little bit better when it came down to how he said what he was trying to get out and trying to control that narrative.
Can I ask you then, if you were that player, would you have just given a little bit of insight into maybe what went wrong for you? Because I think that's what we didn't get, is like, yeah, we know you had a bad game, but was there anything you saw after you looked at the film where you could give a little bit more insight into it? Or is that just like he doesn't want to give too much away?
It ain't even much to give away when it comes down to that game being in the past.
Yeah.
He could have navigated that so much better. He could have said, yeah, I should have looked left. I was too much in a hurry to try to get the ball to whoever it was on the right side of the field. I should have checked down. In reviewing of the film, I was wrong in that moment. And I'm going to use that word, and you said it the other day, Kayla, the ownership of the job. There could have been more ownership in those plays in that moment to actually have people have some empathy into what you have going on. Like, for them to feel what you were going through in those moments. Man, I was just happy to get – I was too eager to make a play, and I should have slowed it down. This week, I'll slow things down a little bit. Like, it could have been that simple of an answer for him.
Ryan's in a no-win situation. You throw 3 interceptions. There is nothing that he can say that is going to appease certain sections of the fan base. There's genuinely nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to go into the specifics of, well, you got a single high safety, and I'm looking on the backside. I thought it was cover 3, and then the robber drops down, and then look, I'm not saying that's what happened, obviously. I'm just giving an example based on Madden plays that I know. But there is no reason for him to go into the very specific, minute details. That being said, it wasn't a great look for him, guys, but it's a sign of life. It's a sign that the guy is frustrated and that he cares and that it's not just the same robotic Ryan Tannehill. It feels like we get a lot of robotic stuff from Ryan, similarly to the way we get got to play better, got to coach better from Mike Vrabel. If anything, I'm glad there's a little bit of fight here. As long as that's used for good, I don't care. Shut down the questions all you want. Go for it. Just know that you're going to be held accountable to a higher level now if you continue to throw interceptions and you continue to be bad. Because when you push back at the media a little bit, they're going to push back too if you throw 3 more picks on Sunday against the Chargers. So I'm okay with this. In fact, I think it could end up being a positive for the Titans that Ryan's not just going gently into the night. He's not giving up the quarterback spot to Malik Willis or, more realistically, long-term to Will Levis. He's trying to fight for his position a little bit. He's pushing back. Good. Show me on the field. Push back on the field. Don't throw 3 picks, and then we'll be in a much better position. I think this whole, well, Josh Allen was accountable. Ryan wasn't. We played you 2 answers out of that. He answered questions for about 6 minutes before he got to that point. Yes, he was accountable as well. Just because he didn't sound like Josh Allen, he's going to say it in his own words, and that's fine. That being said, 2 things are true at once. Yes, I love the fight from him, but also if he's bad again, just be ready. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, and he said, first and foremost, when he started that, he said, one of the first things he said is, I turned to Tim Kelly after that game, and I said, can we just get the iPad, and I want to start prepping for the next game. So he did say, this was obviously so frustrating for him, but now for fans, not for us, for fans, he has to go out there and fix it. He can say all the most times that he wants that this was a frustrating game, it was his worst game, whatever he wants. But if you don't go and show that on Sunday and show the improvements, it's going to be this.
But like I said, to me, I think he could have gave a simple, everybody knew the answer to the stuff that response to where everybody was asking. Yeah, I tried to force it over there and should have went this way. There could have been more ownership taken in those moments. But you're right, Will. I'm glad to hear the pushback.
It's a sign of life.
It is a sign of life, but it's almost just where was this guy? Maybe this guy's the one that needs to show up from here moving forward. If he goes up and light the Chargers up on fire, that's the dude we're going to need. And you're going to ask the question, well, where the hell have you been at then?
We'll take your thoughts on this coming up. We got loaded phone lines at 615-737-1045. We'll get to Q's and K's and sound from the Titans locker room as well, where Kayla was able to catch up with Christian Fulton, Nick Westbrook-Akine, other players yesterday. And we could take your comments as well in the F&M Bank chat on whether or not you're okay with Ryan Tannehill essentially shutting down questions about the Saints yesterday at the end of his press conference. More of that coming up next on RKW.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm telling you guys, I use them, and they do all those things and have done all those things in our house. I promise you that, man. They're professional, they're experienced, and they're trustworthy, too. And I'm going to tell you something you need to trust right now, that it's going to get cooler in Tennessee. And it's happening today. I think it was in the 50s this morning, man. So it's time to start thinking about that heating system, okay? You don't want to experience a breakdown when that first temperature drop happens. So it's time to get that heating tune up taken care of now. Luckily for you, it's Happy Half Off Month at Hiller, and tune-ups are 50% off. This month, Hiller is making it easier than ever to tackle necessary home replacements by giving you 50% off select add-on items. Hiller work is backed by their happy you'll be or the service is free guarantee. That is the best thing you do. Either you're happy or the entire service is free, okay? To learn more about Hiller, visit them at happyhiller.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Talking Titans on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is our number. Online on the F&M Bank chat, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, or Twitch. You can also subscribe to the Ramon, Kayla, and Will podcast channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. That way the full show is in your phone and your feed for your commute home, your trip to the kitchen to grab coffee later, whatever it is.
Right.
We're there for you every day, every hour of the show. We go first to Chris in Clarksville before we get to sound from the Titans locker room yesterday, talking about Ryan Tannehill. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys. How you doing this morning?
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, I just calling back to what you were talking about before the break. I do like the pushback that Tannehill has. Like, there is upside to it, of course. Like, he's actually showing some fire in it, but it's like right now it's put up or shut up time for him. Because the thing is, like, they got a week 7 bye coming up. Like, they got 5 more games for the bye week. You got you got Chargers this week, Browns, Bengals, Colts, and Ravens. All have pretty good defenses all together. So it's like, so what I want to ask you guys is, if he continues to play the way he's like, if he doesn't get any better, how short of a leash would you give him before you even start to think about a potential switch at quarterback, especially with a week 7 bye coming up?
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the call.
I'll chime in on that first.
Yeah.
I think it's all about how they feel in terms of if Malik or Will Levis, because look, Vrabel wants to win games no matter what, right? He's not going to toss the towel in 4 games into the season. It's just not what Vrabel's going to do. Do they feel prepared at that time to put in a guy like Malik or Will Levis? Right now, Malik's the backup, but that doesn't mean that Will Levis wouldn't be the backup at that point, right?
Yeah.
Do they feel comfortable? Because right now, Ryan Tannehill still gives you, in my opinion, the best opportunity to win. Right now.
Yeah.
So if they're going to make a change, I could see it happening after the bye week if they're going to make a change.
When it comes down to it, this is going to be a decision that has to be contingent upon where you are in the season to that point. To your point, Tannehill does give you the best, means to winning games if he's on. The thing is, you don't know which one you're going to get week
That's
in
why I
and
said
week
right
out.
now.
And that's
Yeah.
what's so spotty about everything that he has going on. It's like, dude, just do this job. Stop. I don't want to say stop overthinking, because it's easy for me to say that sitting in a seat or on the sideline. But this is just going to be a continuation of this conversation until something does change or his play elevate. One of the two has to happen. Either his play changes and goes really good, and at this point, public perception saying they want to see him play really good.
Yeah.
The reality of it is, if not, he's on the back burner.
And look, you can't have one good game on Sunday and then fall back into your old ways the next Sunday. That's not going to get it done either. The consistency has to be there.
This may be going into this moment this year with Tannehill. I think right now we're at a worse spot now than we were when the 3 picks happened in Cincinnati, because you have an answer behind it, or you think you have an answer behind it.
I agree. I think the earliest you could make a change should be after the bye week. Earliest you could do it. And the only reason Mike Vrabel's going to make a change anywhere remotely close to the end of the season or before the end of the season is because he thinks someone else gives them a better chance to win.
Yep.
But it will take a lot. Like, for those of you asking or calling or chatting, could Ryan get benched if he has 3 picks on Sunday? No, I really don't think so. I mean, he might get benched in game if he has another really bad performance, but it's going to be one of those situations where you may go to somebody else for a 4th quarter in a blowout, like Malik Willis getting the reps in Buffalo last year on Monday Night Football. But that doesn't mean someone else would just become the starter.
Yeah. And of course, you're dealing with a rookie. If you're looking for Levis being the guy, and you're dealing with Malik, who's still figuring it out himself, too.
Yeah.
Those are your other options, right, Will?
There's just a lot we
Caleb?
don't know still. Like, it's hard to say when a different quarterback could take over because we don't know who he's throwing the ball to. We don't know who's healthy on the offensive line. We don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is out there. He was questionable at best at the end of that game, getting hurt on the last play, and then a non-participant yesterday at practice. I mean, yes, if Ryan Tannehill throws picks or can't move the football, but he's throwing to Chris Moore as his wide receiver 1 and NWI as his 2, no disrespect to them, he's probably got to get a little more grace. So that's why I think realistically, the earliest you could possibly see someone else is week 8. But I don't even think it's going to get to that point. I really don't. Let's ask this quickly then. Who is the guy with the best chance to take over in the middle of the season?
I think that's too hard to say right now because they've made Malik Willis the backup. That clearly means they believe if Tannehill went down at this moment, Malik is the guy. But who's that to say that 5 games into the season, they feel like they've seen enough from Will Levis and, practice and whatever. I don't think you could really make huge strides in practice, but maybe they see that and they feel like at that point Levis is ready. I'm not quick to pull the trigger on that either at this point.
My question is this, and of course we can get to it as far as the callers we have coming in too, is if Tannehill gets benched and it's Malik and it's Will, what's the expectations at that point? That's the next question that has to be asked.
Yeah, you got to have a totally different set of standards for a rookie quarterback. And Malik, who's essentially might as well be a rookie.
Might as well be a rookie.
Last year was kind of a mulligan redshirt year.
What's our expectation if that does happen? Because now we're not going – Joe Burrow was a one-off, I feel like. And I think everybody's expecting to find that, or Patrick Mahomes. So what's the expectation if they do come in? Just optimism for the future?
Yeah.
Because we got 16 more games left.
I mean, I think that's what most people would say because I don't think they're fully ready to be, elite quarterbacks in the league as starters yet. They could be, but at this moment in time, I don't think that's fair to put that on them either, right? They'll expect to win. That's what Vrabel does. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if you can expect that much out of a rookie quarterback in year one. Maybe they surprise us. I don't know.
In the F&M Bing chat, Reggie says, if Tannehill throws 2 picks in a first half, I think Malik will be playing. I just think there's zero truth to that. I really do. There's so much you can't control when it comes to that, too. I mean, Ryan's leash is longer than that. It is. Right now. It might not be in 2 months, but right now his leash is a lot longer than that. 615-737-1045. Loaded phone lines this morning talking Titans and Ryan Tannehill. We'll go to Danny in Columbia up next. What's up, Danny?
Hey, I wanted to kind of touch on this deal with Tannehill. Everybody's getting on Tannehill so bad, but you know what? I think he's losing confidence because of his offensive line cannot help him none. I mean, look. I mean, you can see it. I can see it. I mean, they've been trying to do this offensive line for how many years now? 3, 4, and it just ain't working. They got to get some people in there to help the guy.
I'm gonna push back. The offensive line didn't have him throwing into double covers. The offensive line didn't have him overthrowing. The offensive line didn't have him underthrowing it. The reason they didn't call that Chris Moore interception is because the ball was vastly underthrown. It's just like getting a holding call on a wide receiver, and the ball is, what does the ref do? He does the hand motion over the head. The ball was too far out of the zone. You can't, and I don't even want to defend them like this because they got some stuff they got to clean up too up front, the OL. But on 2 of those picks, double coverage on one and an underthrow on the other, that was insane.
I'm with you. Offensive line protection was perfect on the flea flicker. It was perfect on the pass to Tajay Spears, who was wide open. I mean, the offensive line was not perfect, but ESPN's pass block win rate has the Titans' offensive line as the 5th best pass blocking line over the weekend.
When they knew they were about to get rushed, too.
Yeah.
Coach Mack just said that in 6 o'clock.
Right.
One thing's for sure. If Ryan doesn't start playing better, they're going to start calling him Ryan over the hill.
Oh, no.
You don't have any kids yet. That was a
615-737-1045. Jason in the Borough up next before we get to some Titan sound from the locker room yesterday. What's up, Jason?
Hey, guys. I got 2 things for you. I want to do some Titans talk, and I got to touch my balls a little bit, guys. We got Florida, the Florida week. With Tannehill, man, I gotta say, you gotta show that fight that you showed in the media on the field. And maybe if you did that, maybe the coach would have went with you on 4th and 6 instead of kicking the field goal. Like if you showed that confidence and that grit, then maybe Bear was like, man, I trust this guy. I think he's gonna get the 4th and 6. But if you're showing that grit there, that's all I gotta say about that. And then my Tennessee Vols, man, my Volunteers, baby. we about to walk up into this dang swamp.
Tell them.
We about to take the S&W out. We're about to be amped up. Then we're going to add the W back. We're going to womp these gators in the swamp, standing on their head, not letting them get any air to breathe.
Come on with
They're going to stay underneath the swamp. They're going to stay under there.
Tell them.
Play that music. Play that music, baby. Play that music.
Tell them. Bring Smokey out.
Come on. We're so back. Hello,
we
we're
go.
back, department. I'd like to file a claim.
Can I say real quick, too, if we got more calls, we're moving on, Will?
We're going to move on to Titan sound, but real quick.
I agree with the field goal on 4th and 6.
Yeah, I do too.
I do. It was a very defensive game. Points come at a premium. 6 yards is hard to get in the NFL. Heck, they had 3 to get 10, and they didn't get 10 on that same drive right there.
Yep.
That defense is solid. Their pass defense, did we not see that? They had, if not a top 5, the number 1 passing defense last year. We did that on Scout Meeting Wednesday last week. That was a hard 6 to get right there, man. It was. In those moments, you take those points, and that you had a 1-point loss. I agree with the field goal right there.
Yep. I'm with you.
That's coaching.
It's knowing the flow of the game, too. I think that the analytics tell you to go for it, but that's why analytics are a secondary source and not a primary source. You got to understand the flow of the way the game is being played.
It was the right call.
I agree. Let's get to Q's and K's for the Titans locker room as Christian Fulton caught up with Kayla yesterday, talking about how he feels off of the hamstring injury down in New Orleans.
I mean, it's a challenge every week in this league. You're going to face different skill sets, different guys, big or small. So it's going to be on us, to identify what their strengths is. And obviously, we think that's, throwing the ball. They can also run it. So, just doing our part, in the back end, making sure we're all on the same page, making the right checks. And keeping the ball in front of us, to eliminate X plays because he can make all the throws.
Well, you've seen Justin Herbert before, right? In the past. I mean, what does he do so special that maybe some of these other quarterbacks don't pose as much of a challenge with that?
It's just his arm strength, like you said, he can make every throw, literally. So, and most quarterbacks, they can make every throw, but he's accurate with every throw, and he can make throws on the run. So it's just going to be on us, at all 3 levels, containing him, keeping him in the pocket, and also keeping the ball, keeping all the receivers in front of us. That way we don't let them have X plays.
Big emphasis this week has to be getting off the field on 3rd down.
Yeah.
How do you go and correct that kind of thing?
It all goes down to communication. Obviously, we got to be better on 1st and 2nd down. That way they can be in, 3rd and longs. That way it makes it tougher for them. And like I said, we just got to be all communicating on all levels and make sure, that we're all on the same call, same page. That way we can execute the call.
How you feeling?
Feeling good.
You're feeling good. And that's the thing. In a game like that, you kind of have a scare. Mentally, I feel like you can bounce back from that a lot easier now as a veteran type of player.
Yeah, definitely wasn't something that I expected to happen. But like I said, just trying to stay in the moment, and I was trying to do what I can, to help the team, at the time.
There's Christian Fulton yesterday in the locker room. Fairly upbeat Christian Fulton.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. I wanted to get back in the game and do what I could to help the team. He's in a contract year. Maybe a lot of people thought he shouldn't be out there if he wasn't 100%. I think you kind of said that
too.
But for him, it's availability. It's all about availability. So it is kind of a fine line there on, do you get back in the game if you're not 100%, or do you go because you got to be out there?
He was definitely trying the entire time on the sideline. When he came out, he had to show the strength and conditioning coach and the training staff, and I'm sure his coaches too, from what I saw on the sideline, that he was willing to go back into the game. That is 100% facts on that one. We'll see what this week looks like. I guarantee you this, those tall wide receivers and that strong arm quarterback going to try him early.
Oh, yeah.
As they should, with the deep threats you have in the Chargers wide receiver room. Let's get to Peter Skronsky next, who talks about his first pro game. Mike Vrabel, who is complimentary about his play, saying it was a good start for the rookie at left guard for the Titans. Here's Peter yesterday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with how that went. I think, especially given the environment, they did a nice job, but always stuff to work on and improve on. Things are just getting more complex this week, so it's going to be going on top of that.
Peter, what are you seeing from this Chargers front early on?
Yeah, obviously really physical. They did a really nice job against the run. last week. So, it's just got to be able to handle all their looks and everything they do up front and handle their players. So.
When it comes to your first game, graded out really well. When you go back and look, how critical are you on yourself? This being the first time you've really done this at this level.
Yeah. I think the only people who really know what the actual grades are the people in this building, to be honest, and know what plays and know what techniques we've got to execute. So, obviously definitely stuff to work on and stuff I wasn't happy with. So just kind of being intentional about that this week and working on it.
What's been going around the team here the last few days coming on?
Yeah, obviously you want to get one, but just got to keep going. It's a long season. Another great opponent here, so got to move on and get ready to play.
Anytime Peter Skronsky says anything, he just sounds like a 35-year-old interior lineman with a mortgage.
He does. He's like the pros pro at, 20-something? 21? I don't even know if he's 21. But I like the answer about him and grading out. Yeah. I thought what he said, the only grades we really care about are the grades that come in out of this building when you're in film session. And he said, and I thought there's things I need to do better. And rightfully so. Yeah, there are. But, dude, he's going to be a force for years to come.
He's just
on
growing.
That line. Yeah,
he's just growing up, essentially what it is, man. He'll be fine, of course. He gonna learn something real quick, though, is film travels.
Yeah.
3 weeks. Him and Andre Dillard will get tested on games a lot.
Todd of the F&M Bank chat says, could Skronsky be any more opposite of Lewan?
Ain't that what y'all were looking for?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is
correct. It is what I was looking for.
I was about to say.
No disrespect to Taylor, and credit for him for making a whole career out of the podcast thing, but I'm great having a boring lineman who is corn-fed, eats red meat, and says nothing in the media. Yeah. Great with me. 615-737-1045. More of your phone calls coming up. We'll get to Steve to lead off our next segment as we continue to talk Ryan Tannehill and Tennessee Titans, the big topic of the week right here on RKW.
Something awesome is coming to Genesis Diamonds next weekend, actually, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's a 3-day designer engagement ring event showcasing the world's top 2 bands and bridal jewelry, Tacori and Verragio, if you did not know. Tacori from California and Verragio from New York, both flying in here to Nashville, including all new rings for this special event. You can explore hundreds of exquisite American-made designer rings, plus Genesis will have special incentives like 0 interest financing and up to $5,000 in instant savings. In addition, Genesis has an expanded selection of GIA certified diamonds for this 3-day event. All shapes, all sizes, rock bottom prices too. This is the best of the best. Every Tacori ring is handcrafted by master artisans with exceptional quality, and every Verragio ring is made by hand with unmatched attention to detail. These are brands other jewelers only wish they could offer, but at Genesis, they have an entire Tacori and Verragio collection, and they'll be on display next weekend. So don't miss this bridal jewelry event of the year, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th at Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. And Nashville SC is teaming up with 104.5 The Zone to kick childhood cancer, a campaign benefiting the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital in September. You can join the NSC Kick Club by contributing $10 a month or a one-time gift of $120 by texting Kick Cancer to 615-488-4401 or by visiting 1045thezone.com. Again, that's Kick Cancer. Text that to 615-488-4401. Help us in our efforts with Nashville SC for a campaign benefiting the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital. 615-737-1045. Coming up in 15 minutes, guys, we've got some Titans tickets to give away that will come with some VIP tickets to a Titans tailgate that may or may not feature Ron Slay celebrating a Tennessee win the day after Tennessee beats Florida as well.
Hey, now.
That's what the streets are saying.
Hey, now.
And the streets are telling me that you could get tickets if you keep listening for 15 more minutes.
Hey, now.
It's going to be good.
2 tickets to the game, 2 tickets to a VIP tailgate. So stay tuned for that. 615-737-1045. We got to Steve in Gallatin, who is up next, talking Ryan Tannehill and Titans this morning. What's up, Steve?
Hey, y'all. How are y'all doing?
Good, Steve.
Man, hey, Ramon, Kevin, Will, appreciate y'all doing what you do.
Thank you.
Listen to you every morning, but I don't get a chance to call in very often. But, hey, look, man, the Tannehill negative needs to stop.
Yeah.
It just needs to stop. Like, it's not all on him, right? And the O-line did well, but everything needs to stop negative, right? We're going forward to the next game. And I agree with that press conference that he did. We're going forward to the next game. We need to reach out and grab that.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the call.
What did Coach Mack say at 6:20?
He said,
Wednesdays are days that we
yeah.
get in the film room and get out on the practice field and
have a
move
reset.
forward.
Steve is team 17, baby.
Steve's chilling.
He is.
Steve Tone, bro, calm me down, man.
I know, it calmed me
I'm being
down.
real,
That's
Steve.
the anti-Coach Mac.
Hey, I feel you, Steve. Like, bro.
Okay.
That's
Pregnant
it.
pause.
Oh, I was like, wait, do you
That's
have
it.
anything
Jared
else?
in Nashville up next.
No, I love that, Steve.
615-737-1045. Hey, Jared.
How you doing, guys?
Good morning.
Hey, Ramon, I think I saw you on the sideline in the Patriots game. Looks like you've lost a pound or two. Looking pretty good there, man.
Just a couple, man. I'm still working, baby. I'm still working. Just a couple. That's a couple.
You inspired me. I'm on my way to the gym right now, but I'm so tired of the it's not one guy's fault conversation. Everybody knows this franchise has been cost dearly, by number 17. I know that's pretty plain, but I was at the Bengals game. Very first play, drops back, throws it right into the belly of a Bengals defender. I sat down, put my head in my hands, and I said, "Here we go." And I had that same feeling on Sunday. So my hope pretty much right now is in Levis and his development. I think that's kind of the reason he's not the number 2 as opposed to where he's at. But another thing I'm just so tired of is, and I lay down at night and I wonder how I'm going to explain to my grandkids how, when we have one of the best running backs to ever play the game that can hoist the world on his shoulders and still get me 5 or 6 yards, how we do not give him more carries. I traveled to Baltimore in 2019, and I saw him embarrass the Ravens for over 200 yards on a Saturday night in the second round of the playoffs. And we get this, well, we didn't like the look that the defense was giving us. Are you going to tell me in 2019 everybody in the stadium of every game that we played didn't know who was probably going to get the ball? And we still could run the ball effectively. I'll never understand why we are not giving the ball more to Henry. Last year we blamed it all on Todd Downing. Okay, he's gone. What did you see Sunday? It's consistency. It's a trend at this point. And I would really like to know your thoughts about why we don't run number 22 until his tongue hangs out of his mouth. It blows my mind.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate the call. The one thing I'll say about that is the guys in front of Derrick Henry blocking for him are not as good as they were in 2019. I would say is the main reason. And look at last year, what happened. You were banging your head against a wall, running Derrick Henry up the middle every single time, and you lost 7 games in the process. Yes, I know Malik Willis and Josh Dobbs and different quarterback situations there too. I get it. But I think it makes sense to move the offense forward a little bit.
Well, that's what a lot of fans wanted last year, too, wasn't it?
It was.
Is that not what half the fans wanted last year? It's so divided with – it's like if you move towards more of passing first or, on first downs and not or just moving towards Tajay in this situation, it's back and forth with people. I think it's just all over the board is what it is because we've heard a little bit of everything.
We have. Hey, Jared, man, go and get that workout in and get some of that stress out, okay?
Talking about I lay awake at night about how I'm going to explain it to my grandkids.
Hey, Paul, Jared, and the grandkids don't need that attitude on Saturday. The Vols play Saturday, man. That's when the grandbabies come over, Paul, Jared. Don't lay up at night doing that. Come on now. Jared, I inspired you now. You need to inspire them grandbabies, man. They ain't trying to hear Paul Jared be up tense like that. I'm sure you got a doctor visit soon with the holiday season coming up. Doctor gonna tell you 2 tensed up.
The holiday season's coming up.
I mean, that's he got to go get a turkey.
Not even on Halloween season.
He got a deep fried turkey. Will. Hey, the holiday ham need to be corrected. If Paul Jared is tense because he's up thinking about why Derek can't be ran like that, then what the hell is we doing?
615
I'm team Jared. I just needed you to know that.
1045. I thought it was a good call overall.
Oh, it was a real good call. That's why I'm yes.
You bring that level of energy, most of the time we don't care what you're saying. Just, reason it out. Have that level of energy. We're good to go.
It was solid.
But the thing about laying awake at night, wow. I do think there are a lot of Titans fans that lay awake at night thinking of the Bengals loss.
I will say this.
Clearly.
Can I before the break, I'll say this though too. In years where you got one last one with a running back, more times though, you do say, screw it, we're going to hammer it. We're going to give him the ball as many times as he possibly can have.
In a contract year.
When Le'Veon was on his way out in Pittsburgh and we didn't know what was going to happen, he wanted the ball, so you give him the ball.
Vrabel still said, and Vrabel said that this week. He said, we're going to still give Henry the ball. We're still going to utilize him.
They're trying to win here, though, and the flow of the game matters,
it does
too.
matter.
I will say that.
Yeah, it does.
615-737-1045. More of your phone calls on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans coming up. Also, a former Florida coach who is predicting that Tennessee's defense is going to have a big day in the Swamp against the Florida Gators this Saturday. And your chance to win Titans tickets coming up next.
What's going on? 8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans practice report came out yesterday where DeAndre Hopkins, Amani Hooker, and Traylon Burks all did not practice, although Burks was excused from practice with a personal matter. Christian Fulton, Tier Tar, and Tajay Spears were limited, while Trey Avery and Dylan Radence who the hell is that? Dylan Radence practiced fully. The Chargers practice report also contains several starters. Joey Bosa, Eric Kendricks, Austin Eckler, Deion Henley all did not practice, and the Chargers signed some insurance in the form of running back Jarrett Patterson to the practice squad in case Eckler does miss some time. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. Eagles and Vikings kick off in Philadelphia at 7:15. The Vikings are going to be without their center, Garrett Bradbury, while their left tackle and Marcus Davenport are all questionable. On the Eagles side, James Bradbury and Kenneth Gainwell are out, while Fletcher Cox is questionable. And injuries are mounting up all over the league as Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll says their left tackle and right tackle, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, are hurting, and it's going to be a challenge for them to play on Sunday, which led them signing 41-year-old Jason Peters to possibly play tackle for them on Sunday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show starts now on your Friday Junior edition of RKW, getting you ready for Titans, Chargers, Tennessee, Florida, and anything else that the Spirit moves you to call in with this morning at 615-737-1045. We've got some Titans tickets to give away, and that includes a pair of tickets to the Titans VIP tailgate, where Ron Slay will be celebrating a Tennessee win over Florida. Hey, whoa, hey! We're having a nice time.
I was trying to hit the laugh.
No!
How the hell you won?
It's right beside the laugh.
Play the intro again. Start the hour over.
Ron's going to get on you in the chat in 3, 2.
Unbelievable.
I was playing the laugh.
I wonder if could the FNM Bank chat hear the buzzer you just played?
They could.
They could, okay.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
It's the one thing they can hear.
Wow.
They can't hear the music. They can't hear the music is what I meant.
Unbelievable.
What is wrong
Slay
with
says,
y'all
hey, come on,
today?"
Bert.
Oh.
Slay, I did that just for you. You know, well, we'll set it all up again.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, we're going to figure this out in
You
post.
can win tickets to the Tennessee Titans and LA Chargers, plus VIP tailgate tickets where Ron Slay will be celebrating a Tennessee win over Florida. That's right.
Oh, Ramon was at the glass like in an aquarium, making sure he did it right.
That's right.
But Bert's probably like, I wish you would come through that glass.
Uh-huh.
Ain't no telling what I got back here to defend myself.
Right.
It is Titans Ticket Thursday. Be caller number 5 right now to win tickets to see your Tennessee Titans host the Los Angeles Chargers this Sunday at Nissan Stadium, plus 2 VIP tailgate tickets to the Titans official tailgate hosted by Bullseye Event Group. 615-737-1045. 615-737-1045.
Line's blowing up.
They've been loaded, too.
Let's go.
haven't we still loaded right now?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
We are. So that's the Titans tickets for this weekend. Looking forward to that. We've got a Titans injury report and a Chargers injury report from yesterday. Starting with the Titans, Traylon Burks, Amani Hooker, DeAndre Hopkins, all non-participants at practice. Amani Hooker, concussion-related. Traylon Burks, not injury-related. Mike Vrabel saying pre-practice that he would be excused for a personal matter. And DeAndre Hopkins with an ankle. Concern level at this point about Hopkins' availability for Sunday is what?
It's probably about a 6 for me.
Oh, okay. It's higher than I expected.
Yeah, out of 10. 6 out of 10, just because wide receivers, I hate to even say he's an older wide receiver, but he is right now. Yeah. Watch him on the sideline a little bit, trying to get himself together, double taping and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he was going to finish the game out. if had the Titans got the ball back at the end of the game. But it's going to be fascinating to see what he's capable of doing. Today and tomorrow will be big days for him. It's obvious. I feel like Magic Johnson saying that right there. That is an obvious take from me. But most coaches will tell you I at least need Friday. Give me Friday. And with as dynamic of an athlete as he is, sometimes guys like that need to be closer to 100% to get going. But he's a strong-minded guy. I'm still 6 out of 10 and concerned.
Yeah, and you kind of saw it more in there. The video is out there if you want to go look at it and do your own doctor analysis. But I'm not highly concerned at this point if it's not a high ankle sprain, I should say, because we don't know exactly what it is with the ankle. But I feel like he's at this point of his career where he wants to be out there in every game that he can be out there in.
Yeah.
So if he's going to be able to be out there, he's going to do it, and it might take him the whole week to recover. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm a little concerned about the Hooker concussion because if you go back to last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but he had a bad concussion that he was out probably 2.5 weeks around there. And with this happening, at the beginning of the season, that worries me a little in terms of how long he might be out with that. Elijah Molden can step up, absolutely, but Hooker has been really promising in terms of what we saw in training camp and that first game.
Right.
Congratulations to Brandon for winning our Titans tickets.
So someone already won them, so quit asking.
There we go. Tell him, Bert.
I just, y'all, we talk about something 5 minutes ago, and y'all are like, Lord, I hope nobody else wanted these Titans tickets and VIP passes. Oh, I bet I'm going to be the winner. You're not.
That's for Brandon.
That's fair.
Congratulations,
Brandon. Shout out to you, Brandon.
Look, I unblocked the lines. Look at that. They all back. Every single one of them. None of y'all listen.
Well, there's a delay with what we say.
All right,
we
that was
give
20 seconds ago I said
they
all
should
that.
now be learning.
Whoa, there are a lot.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they want to talk about Ryan Tannehill.
I hope so.
I think that's where we are. Are the Ryan Tannehill folks gone?
Most of them are. We had to clear most of the lines in order to make room for our contest.
Oh, mama.
Come on, Will.
Other injuries yesterday, Christian Fulton, Tajay Spears, T.R. Tart, each limited. Spears with a groin injury, Tart with a groin injury, and Christian Fulton with the hamstring injury that has been well documented in New Orleans. Trey Avery and Dylan Radins, full participants. The Titans have made one move reportedly this morning, adding running back Jaquez Patrick to the practice squad. A little bit of a contingency in case Tajay Spears is unavailable with a groin problem. That does not bode super well for Tajay's availability this weekend. If they're that quickly adding someone to the practice squad?
Yeah.
At running back?
You said you're not too worried about it, though, Spears.
I'm not overly worried about it because I saw that situation, his groin come up. He went in the blue tent just for a little bit, but he came out and finished the game, too. Last year, offensive series, I feel like he was out there and ready to roll, too. It will be fascinating to see if something happens throughout the week. Sometimes you can, start an injury, and next thing you know, it gets worse as the week goes on, but I don't see in a scenario of that happening right now. Will be fascinating to see what his availability is, and I'll say this too, you need it. But the way we've had our calls positioning today, if Tajay's out, then that means you do get the Derek Show too, more of the Derek Show. So I don't want to say it's a win-win, but you get answers.
Yeah. How mad are people going to be when Julius Chestnut's out there on a 1st and 10?
I wish you would start drama like that, Will.
Keep Julius out of this.
He did get some reps, though.
He did, yeah.
It's always I laugh sometimes when we look at what happens in the preseason versus the regular season. Everybody was gushing over Tajay and Julius Chestnut the entire preseason. We loved them. Absolutely can't wait to see them out. Their offense is going to be diverse, and we're going to expand the playbook. And soon as those two are out there, give me my 22 back. I need my 22 back. Which one do you want?
That's what I said. It's all over the board.
The emotions are high.
Yeah, I get it, though, man. I get it.
You know what? It's expected, though.
Yeah.
It is expected. But a portion of developing this team and offense moving forward is you got to water this thing and let it grow a little bit more. And that's where I am when it comes down to this expectation and stuff. So 1 week.
Chargers injury report yesterday. 4 players did not practice. Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler, Deion Henley, Eric Kendricks, and Chris Rumpf. Austin Eckler, ankle / not injury related - personal. I can't say I've ever seen personal reasons and an injury listed, but that was the case as well for linebacker Eric Kendricks, who had a hamstring / personal reasons.
Oof.
I think it's trending towards Austin Eckler not playing.
He was in a boot, actually, yesterday,
Yep.
is what I heard, which is never a good sign. I mean,
Yeah.
you can technically still play, but
Yeah, you
I
can.
think that's the greatest sign.
I don't know if I've seen many folks be in a boot make it to Sunday, though.
Right. Like
you
Jeff
know?
did it last year a little bit where he'd be in a boot like
During
throughout the week.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was also later in the season and trying to
Exactly.
win games.
Yep.
I did that most of my running career in college, and I was
Really?
hurt most of the time, and they named me Bootstrap Bill.
Ooh wee. Let's go.
I did not
actually
enjoy that.
really good.
I didn't enjoy that.
That's
No, stop
Strap
it.
Bill.
Stop.
Bootstrap Bill. That's a good one. I like it.
Okay. It was great. It was like, I didn't really know these guys that well. My recruiting class was from all around the state. They called me Bootstrap Bill. Was my Achilles injury. Walking up the hill to go to geography class or astronomy class on the hill at Tennessee in a boot, not fun.
If there's one medical device or equipment that I hated, it was the boot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the boot.
Well, speaking of Tennessee,
Thanks.
former Florida coach Dan Mullen was on the Matt Berry show earlier this week, and he is not picking his former employer to get the win in a big rivalry game against the Vols this weekend. This is why Dan Mullen picked Tennessee. Listen to this.
You know, I'm going Tennessee. I'm still on the Tennessee bandwagon until they get me off with Josh Heupel. The offense has looked good. Joe Milton can make all the plays, and I trust Josh Heupel honestly to put him in positions to succeed. We've seen little things that you know you pause on him at all times. Not certainly not his talent, but I think Josh Heupel does a good job of kind of keeping the where the offense is going and keeping it in his wheelhouse and easy for him. And I think they're improved defensively to shut Florida down. I think Utah showed it. If you can stop the run game at Florida and make them one-dimensional, you know, really shut the run game down, they're not going to be very good on offense.
Woo!
There's Dan Mullen picking the Vols to beat Florida. He's right, by the way, too, that Tennessee's strength on defense matches up very well with Florida's strength on offense. If you make Graham Mertz throw the football 40 times, you're going to beat Florida for the first time in Gainesville in 20 years.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I think Dan wants a spot on the Vols staff.
We take them. I mean, we've seen Bama do certain things.
Right?
Why not,
Be
right?
an intern.
I mean, if you can hire Butch Jones,
Sure.
why can't we hire Dan Mullen?
Right?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Tennessee should start collecting failed coaches from other SEC teams.
Yeah, no, I'm with that.
Well, they do have Mackenzie Milton on staff, former UCF quarterback.
Oh, straight up. Yeah, they do.
On Tennessee
Absolutely.
staff.
I knew
Okay.
that.
That's right. Got a lot of Josh Heupel adjacent players, former players.
His system is unique. That's why.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Coming up, we got the chance to speak with Coach Mack earlier this morning. We'll reset some of the interesting things he had to say about stopping a basketball team, also known as the Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver group. We'll also take more of your calls on Ryan Tannehill's answer, or maybe we should say non-answer, about the Saints game yesterday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. We'll start with Michael on the other side. 615-737-1045 as Hour 3 rolls on RKW.
Hey, it's Kaylin Ramon with Window Nation, and we've got more from Window Nation. When it comes to new windows, Window Nation always gives you more, but they are giving you even more. No, we are meaning to say that because more windows you buy right now, the more you save, up to 50% off, plus a lot more. Paying nothing for 2 full years. It's another amazing deal on the windows that deliver more for your home, more for your energy savings, more value, more features, more options just in general. And Ramon, more beauty. Because when we look at our neighbors' windows, we're like, they need to upgrade.
No doubt about it. And they're going to meet that more with zeros too, Kayla. 000 for 2 full years. That's no money down, no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. Plus, get up to 50% off on all style windows too. Bows, bays, double hunks, any style. You can save thousands on your new windows and your energy bills, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. Before all the air get outside of your home, okay, go to windownation.com or call them at 866-90-NATION. Be sure to tell them that Ramon and Kayla sent you.
RKW's powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. Coming up in hour number 4, our Thursday 3 football weekend preview. We've got picks in the NFL. We've got picks in college. And we'll preview the biggest games as the football weekend begins tonight. And, of course, primetime football, Westwood One. Every single time there's primetime football played, you hear it live right here on The Zone. Tonight, Cowboys and Vikings. Going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one.
That's a prove-it game. Sorry, yes, Eagles. Eagles, Vikings. I literally was seeing the Eagles in my head, and I said Cowboys. I don't know why.
It's just because they are the hot team right now. Will.
Excited to see Amazon Prime again. Year 2.
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Should be a good one, though. I was talking to Bert before the show this morning. I mean, you got Baltimore, Cincinnati this weekend also. You got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. There's a lot of good same conference games. This game right here with the Eagles and Minnesota. Minnesota coming off that loss. You like how I say Minnesota?
I noticed
That's pretty solid. Minnesota. Really good games, though. And this is what you have to do when you're trying to sell this the same way Prime is. If you can ask for those premier games, you get those premier games. You know?
Because last year there weren't many of those
Exactly.
premier games on Thursday.
That's what Bezos was talking to Roger Goodell, I'm sure, in that press box about was, hey, I need a little bit more squeeze out of this juice, man. I need a little bit more juice out of the squeeze. I had that all wrong right there. What am I dyslexic?
I am with numbers.
I just got in my group text to my Nashville friends, a buddy texts me and goes, I'd take Josh Allen on the Titans. We're like, what?
Wait, what?
This is a Wendy's restaurant.
Wait, what are we doing? What's going on?
No, I'm not.
The whole group text is upside down right now. Like, what are we doing right now?
Forget that little comment you just said from your friends group. You said my Nashville friends. Are we not Nashville friends in the studio?
My coworkers.
Oh.
Coworker friends.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, Bert.
Okay. All
Coworkers. Kayla. Coworkers.
Yeah.
My Nashville friends. All right. We're going to whoop all
Well,
your
I was
friends.
specifying it's not my college friends.
You said what
my
you
friends
said.
who are here.
Yeah, you said what you said, and that's
Okay.
fine, Will.
I told my mom we were friends.
I did too. Told everybody. I knew them.
Everybody heard.
No, screw that. We're no longer friends.
Okay, well.
Used to be a time on this show.
It's going to be okay, Ramon. You're going to make it.
used to gather in this studio. Bert behind the glass.
Break bread together.
Break bread together, Bert. Those days are now gone.
We're just going to breeze past the Josh Allen thing.
Football teams, start kicking the football off, and certain people change out here. It didn't used to be this way, y'all.
They think they're going to beat the Gators in a swamp.
You know what I'm saying?
First time in 20 years a man starts changing.
Okay, all right.
And
anyway.
then his whole stilo changes, don't it?
My coworker friends are taking this time. This text, though, is funny. Because it says, I don't care if Josh Allen turns the ball over 3 times a game. At least it's fun when he does it.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if that's something to go behind.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bills fans feel that.
My friend said, right now we turn the ball over 3 times a game, but it's depressing.
Oof. Now it's about how much more fun can you have.
Oh, that's great. Let's go back to the phones. Michael is in Nashville up first. What's up, Michael?
Now I'm in Murfreesboro. I've been on talk that long, but anyway.
Oh, my bad, Michael. My bad.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's clear something up. For one thing, Henry don't have to run the ball 30, 40 times, but he does have to be in the ball game. Yeah. He's a matchup problem. The defensive coordinator's going, God, 8-man front, single coverage on the outside, linebackers on tight ends. When he's not in the game, you can't do that. What do you think they did when they went to an empty backfield? Mm-hmm. Boy, I bet he was laughing so hard, the defensive coordinator on the other team. You've got to put him in the ball game. And Spears only touched the ball 4 times. So that's terrible too. So if you're talking about I want to use Spears, well, hell, he didn't touch the ball either. But you've got to play Henry. He's a freak of nature. He's something that'll never come along, probably not in my lifetime. And I don't even think Vrabel knows what he's got. Because this guy, he ain't slowing down.
Right.
And it's like they're ready to cut him. I mean, hey, we're not going to give you the ball. We'll just force you out. So somebody's going to pick him up, and we're going to wish we didn't.
Did
But
someone
anyway,
put their blanket on? Oh.
That's me. I'm sorry. That's me.
No, you're okay. I think we got an added sound
that's
effect
me.
on top of it.
I'm on speaker, but I got the radio set up. So, you can hear. Yeah, I'm driving.
Now you be
But,
Thank you, Michael. We'll talk about it.
Well, yeah, I'm hands free.
There we go.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Michael. That was Robert.
But Bert put the blinker sound over his
It was
blinker
a clock.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was going for the blinker.
That's funny.
Oh,
It
are you?
sounded like it.
Okay.
I'll say this about Tajay and Derek and use and stuff like that. Tajay may have not gotten the ball,
Mhm.
but the offensive situation suggests that he be out there. The whole conversation we've had about Derek is the flexibility that he needs to provide in the passing game and on third down situations. That's not a running situation. Yes,
correct.
You can throw a screen in there, but a screen has to be set up. If you miss that screen, it's a negative yard. What Tajay provides for you and why he had more snaps than Derek is because of offensive situation. It wasn't because it's a knock on Derek and they didn't want to use Derek, but y'all have been knowing this for a long time since Deion Lewis. Anytime that there's a third down, a second and long situation, Derek usually comes out unless it's something for Derek. So it's not neglect of using Derek. It's situationally you needed to have Tajay out there. Tajay didn't touch the ball, but the situation provided there would be. But the situation said he could actually have a better point in getting the ball than Derek would in those situations. That's what it was. It wasn't a knock on Derek. It was the fact that the situations call for Tajay to be out there.
Yeah, if you keep going backwards on first down or having 4 pre-snap penalties that led the NFL, then you're going to put Tajay Spears on the field. Yes. Why would you run on 1st and 15 after a false start? Or 4 of those over the weekend.
Yeah.
I still don't think Tim Kelly did anything wrong. I think it's one game that they would have won if Ryan Tannehill makes open throws. It's not Tim Kelly's fault that Ryan Tannehill can't hit a wide open Chikakonkwo. Right. It's not the offensive line faults either. It's just Ryan Tannehill's fault. He just let the team down.
He did.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It
And
happens.
he knows that now.
Of course.
He knows that.
And that happens at times.
It happens. Move on. Not saying to the caller, move on. It's a fair point. But I still don't think giving the ball to Henry Moore would have really made a difference. Josh in Gallatin is next. 615-737-1045. Hey, Josh.
What up, Josh?
Hey guys. I'm gonna have to go with the other callers. What Jerry was saying about Derrick Henry. Not saying that he needed more touches, but what Derrick Henry does amps up the Titans. It gets them going. Like one stiff arm to the face of one of those defenders, that gets Tannehill up in the mood. That gets everybody's mood going. They could have gave him a few more touches in the second half. They wouldn't like they were down 2 touchdowns. They were only down 1 possession. So you should have gave him some more touches, Derrick Henry some more touches, to let him, get the offense going, because that's what he's done this past few years. He's the guy. And if Tannehill wasn't doing it, then you should have gave him a few more touches. That's all I got to say, guys. Just a few more touches.
Thank you, Josh. I mean, he had the stiff arm in this game, and they lost. I mean, he threw down a defensive back, and
and they were hype on the sideline.
I don't care how hype they are.
Even I got hype seeing that.
If you're behind the chains, it doesn't matter how hype you are. You need to convert. You need to execute.
One thing that they have to execute, too, is, this second half, in terms of points, they've got to start figuring this out. This goes all the way back to last season with the inconsistency of finding the end zone in the second half. You got to go back to that Cowboys game in the third quarter where they scored their last touchdown in the second half. That's inexcusable in my eyes. You got to get down to the red zone first before you can even produce down there, right?
Yeah.
Which they've been good in the past in that as well. But that's a narrative that's got to change too, and has got to change fast. Because you are not going to win games if you cannot get in the end zone.
Yep.
Especially in that second half when a lot of these games come down to the wire.
100% on that one. 100%. Definitely.
Cody is up next on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Hey, Cody.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. Good morning.
Good morning, man. Good morning, Kayla.
Morning.
I got a question, or I wanted to ask Ramon. Well, first of all, about the game, you can break it down any way you want to, but the fact is it's a whole brand new offense, and they didn't play him in the preseason, so why would you not expect them to not exactly be gelling in the first game? But for Ramon, man, I wanted to ask you what you thought about Chris Hubbard, time for first in the NFL with pass block win rate at 100% when he was going up against Cam Jordan most of the time. And, I mean, in my eyes at least, and I'm sure a lot of others, I think Chris Hubbard was kind of the biggest question mark on the line.
It was. Man, great question, too.
Good morning, Will.
And I'm going to answer this
Somebody
as
had to say
biased as I possibly can, okay? What'd you say, Will?
I said, good morning, Will. Somebody had to say it.
Good morning, Will. Hey, he meant it. He said it in good spirit.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
In good spirit.
Chris had a solid game. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I've heard the conversation that Chris hadn't played a whole lot, but Chris also been injured the last couple of years when it comes down to his reps and stuff like that. And he actually went to Cleveland as a starter. He started double-digit games in Pittsburgh, too. The guy's capable of playing the game. His last issues have been health. I wasn't surprised by it because I've played right next to him. I understand what he is as a player. Will he get beat and have his deficiencies? Yes, 100%. But that's the story of the offensive line is managing your wins and losses. I like the fact that he came out in game one on the road and proved that. His run blocking skills was one of the things that got us interested in him when he was a young guy. If the numbers and metrics said that, I'm going to roll with it. I always do side-eye those things, though, because I don't – I've seen some say that Andre Dillard had a bad game too, but again, the job as far as him getting it done was mostly done. There is room for improvement the same way I feel about it for everybody else. Hubbard had a solid game. You didn't hear his name. There was no bad breaks on his side of the ball either. You got to call it how it is sometimes, and that's what I would tell people in watching them. And now this is the case too. Do it again, Hub.
Yeah, keep rolling.
Yep.
Keep rolling.
At this point, if Chris Hubbard puts 5 more of those games on tape,
come on, man,
he's going to be your starting right tackle this season.
Didn't we talk about that?
We did. Well, and at that point, Nicholas Petit-Frere moves to left.
Oh, don't you do that.
Andre Dillard insurance policy.
Don't you do it.
Titans have depth on the O-line.
It's the biggest insurance policy of them all. He created himself as a policy place.
That is one place I think we can already say the Titans are significantly improved.
Yeah,
is their first tackle that's not on the field is worlds better than what Dennis Daly was last season.
It's going to be quality, right?
It's going to be better. I don't know if quality for a backup
That's
tackle.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
615-737-1045. Appreciate the call, Cody. Let's go to Bo up next in Nashville. What's up, Bo?
What's going on, good people? I apologize for the audio, man. I'm out here driving my dump truck trying to get this money.
Oh, you sound
good,
You're fine. It's perfect.
Super cool. First and foremost, I'm a born and raised Nashvilleian, and I'm sorry to say I'm a out the womb Miami Dolphin lifelong fan.
Oh.
Wow.
And I wanted to say I was so happy when y'all picked up Tannehill from us, and I was telling all my guys that he's not going to get the Titans anywhere. But my main question, good people, is do you think the Titans would give Derrick Henry, I ain't going to say give, trade Derrick Henry to us? And if so, what would it cost us?
Ooh. They will not trade Derrick Henry unless something really bad happens this season. I'd be very surprised.
I think trading for Derrick Henry means that you've seen something else out of someone else, meaning Tajay and Julius have actually taken big steps.
How much would it cost?
How much would it cost you to trade Derrick?
Trade for Derrick?
Trade for Derrick? A 4?
Okay.
Really?
4.
What if he has what if it just comes to the point of the season where you know it's not going anywhere, but Derrick has his most value at that point? Because like we saw last year, Derrick was still Derrick when there was nothing else around him, right?
Yeah.
You still think of 4
Still
at
a
that
4,
point.
maybe even a 5.
Okay.
You know why? Because, one, there's no allegiance to him. Either I wait on him next year, unless the team is very pressed. A 4 or 5.
Right. With injuries, you know how that can happen before playoffs.
Yep. A 4 or 5 is where I see that going.
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you in that conversation.
Right.
But if we're asking, what do we project that to be? Yeah, I can see a 4 or 5.
I think that we get a little bit of
generous.
revisionist history from Dolphins fans on the whole Tannehill thing, too. Because you can say about every player that's ever played in the NFL, hey, eventually it's not going to work. You can say that about Tom Brady. That'd be like Patriots fans now being like, yeah, Tom Brady didn't really work out because eventually every player is going to decline. Ryan Tannehill has taken the Titans to an AFC championship game, which is a heck of a lot more than he ever did in Dolphins colors. So saying, I told y'all he was never going to work. I don't know. He worked. He didn't work on Sunday.
Yeah.
But Ryan Tannehill's been a pretty good Titans quarterback.
He has been.
Statistically, he's been excellent.
I mean, if we're talking about the numbers, 100%.
He was good last year.
He really was. Tajay's added a glitch in the matrix. He really has. Because
and
now,
this early too, right?
And this early.
Right.
Because he is the weapon that you want.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard Rhett Bryan speak highly of Tajay all offseason, going into the draft, pre-draft process. And then he comes there and he does those things. That burst run he had off the Andre Dillard side of the offensive line was about as best as you could ever see from a running back. That burst, that explosion is kind of what he's offering you up. But you also have one portion of our fan base that says this, I want more Derek. Well, what do you want? Do you want what Austin Eckler did last weekend? If I can ask this question real quick, y'all.
Solid.
I'm pulling up right now the Scout Meeting Wednesday notes if you did not see them. Now, hear me out on this one.
Okay.
Austin Eckler finished with 16 carries, 117 yards with a touchdown, 17.3 points per game. Yes, they lost the game, but they put up 34 points.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that style of offense, or do you want to hand it to a guy 25-plus times and say, you know what, I'm okay with scoring 16? Because you're going to run into a juggernaut that's able to score fast, and if you're saying just give it to 22, that slows you down. That's hustling backwards is what we will say. Do you want 16 for 117 and a touchdown? Or do you want 25 for 100? Which one do you want?
What I want is for the Titans to be able to win games in different ways. What did the Kansas City Chiefs do in the second half against Kansas City? Or against Philly? They got out of their identity and ran the football. If they lost that game, Kansas City callers are probably, why would you take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands and hand it off?
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs won a Super Bowl ring by taking the football out of the hands of their best player and winning a different way. The Titans have had one formula to win football games since 2019, and it got them pretty far. But you know what they're doing now? They're finding a different way to win on offense. Just because they didn't on Sunday does not mean it's the different strategy that failed them. The quarterback failed them. As clearly as we can say this, we've said it all week. The quarterback failed the Titans on Sunday. Doesn't mean he's done. Doesn't mean he should be let go. Does not mean Malik Willis should be the starter. It means that he failed for one game. Fine, move on. The Titans need to win in different ways. They need to be able to score 40 and win. They need to be able to grind out a 17-16 win like they have many times under Mike Vrabel. This was them trying to find a different way to win, and I commend them for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and if Ryan was serviceable on Sunday and made some of those throws that could have been touchdowns, even if he had 2 interceptions, was able to make those throws and they win the game, I don't think we're talking as much about the Derrick Henry situation because you're like, oh, they really did switch up the offense.
Yep.
Okay, this is a little more balanced seeing Tajay and Derrick out there. But because that was not the case at all, guys, it's easy for us to look at this now and say, we got to get Derrick more involved.
Losing exposes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you rethink and overcalculate everything. I thought the plan was solid. You just misfired on a lot of different situations.
Right.
615-737-1045. More phone calls coming up. Plus, what Coach Mack had to say this morning with us on the better first and second down efficiency the Titans need in order to be able to give the ball to Derrick Henry more. That's coming up next on RKW. Hey, what's up? It's Will Bowling. You deserve all the comforts of home, including endless hot water at your fingertips. Tankless water heaters, powered by new recirculation systems, save energy, money, time, and space. Lee Company has a limited time offer right now. Listen to this. $750 off a tankless water heater when you purchase a recirculation system. And to make the heater even sweeter, qualified buyers receive 18 months of 0% financing. 0% financing for 18 months, $750 off a tankless water heater. These are the kind of deals that Lee Company is giving you. Take advantage of this offer today. Call my friends at Lee Company. Write this down, 615-567-1000, or go online to leecompany.com/promotions to get $750 off a tankless water heater. That's 615-567-1000, online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW is powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. Good conversation this morning with Coach Mack. You can hear that as well as every hour, every second of the show, wherever you download podcasts. 10 o'clock every morning. Apple, Spotify, Google Play, 1045thezone.com. Give us a rating while you're there, as long as it's 5 stars. If you don't like the show, maybe just keep your thoughts to yourself, please. Thanks.
There we go.
With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. Coach Mack telling us earlier this morning about the Titans needing to have better efficiency and better production on first and second down. That's a key against the Chargers this weekend, and here was what he had to say earlier on the show. Hey, what's up? It's Will Bowling. You just... Hey, Will.
Oh, hey, what's up, Will?
What's up, Will? How you doing, Will?
Yeah, Jackson just cut that out.
They've got a good defense. Now, they gave up 36 points.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They gave up 36 points. Now, so defensively, you're looking at this, and Brandon Staley still calls the defense. I don't care who he names his defensive coordinator. He's calling these defenses. And he got a head coaching job off of the job he did coaching the Rams defense when he was there with Sean McVay, when they, had all the guys on defense that were pretty well set there. So they're going to find out ways to try to dent what's going on. All right.
Yeah.
And because we were in our ball game in New Orleans was a completely different ball game. It was a complete 180 from that game they were in against Miami. I mean, that was a track meet. I spent 3 hours breaking that game down. That was a track meet. I mean, it was going back and forth. And, both secondaries in that game, probably head still spinning a little bit from what went on in that game. So, to your point, though, yeah, we're going to see games. And the thing that we have to be able to do, Ramon, I mentioned it earlier just a little bit when I was talking with Kayla with her question. You had 14 third downs and your aggregate was 3rd and 8+.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do that because that puts everybody in a bad spot. And you talk about protection.
Yeah.
You're just inviting people to run games and to bring anything that they want to bring with that. So our first and second downs got to be better. And so all of that works together, as you well know.
14 third downs, and on average, it was 3rd and 8+ for the Titans on Sunday. You want to know why Tajay Spears was playing? That's why. That's why he had so many snaps. You're in 3rd and 8+ on your 14 third downs on average. Coach Mack did like the offensive line play, though. Said it was improved and really liked what he saw from that group on Sunday.
They're going to get better, they've got to get better. And there was the basic thing that, and again, I don't grade. I mean, I graded players for 31 years.
Sure.
I don't grade players anymore. I look at the overall what happened with the overall scope of going on. But you want to dial it down to them. Ramon was down there on the sideline, and Mike Keith went to him several times, just asking him, how they're working together. The thing that gave him problems early on, that always does, and especially with an offensive line that's coming together, is games. When they start for coming together live and it's 3rd down and they're running games, especially if it's 3rd and 8+, which that's what we averaged out for 14 third downs, and they know that they can stick their foot in the ground and get in those track stances and start coming every which direction at you, and you've got to work in sync and at the timing. But to me, when they were the game, and the game was very close the whole time, but when you're running the football, I thought they did a fairly nice job of it.
Yeah.
And so that's got to continue, and then the cohesion of the games has got to come along. But I didn't see anything glaring as to where you said, we had nothing happen like what Arden Key did to their left tackle.
Right.
Yeah. In other words, seriously, and that's what you look at, the back and forth of it. So, but there's room for improvement, and they will all say that, because if you don't win, nobody feels good.
There's Coach Mack with us this morning. I think it's interesting talking about just passing off the D-tackle and recognizing when you got a twist up front. And that's what the Saints got the Titans on. It's what the Chargers are going to try to do this weekend, too. I would imagine you're going to see Khalil Mack and the rest of those rushers that have the more inside focus. Because Khalil Mack is a guy that can be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He can play a 4-3 defensive end. He can rush inside 3 technique. I wonder how much you'll see guys, Khalil Mack against Peter Skronsky, and they try to get the rookie isolated in pass situations.
I would. I'd do it all day.
Him and Joey Bosa both. I think you're going to see them going one-on-one with Peter Skronsky and say, get in my way.
And look, if there's any time Joey Bosa, we go back to the injuries with him. He's been on and off healthy. Like, dude's got a hamstring injury this week. He's not guaranteed to play. How much better would that be just to not have to worry about that side?
Sometimes you're lucky like that. You just simply are.
Mm-hmm.
They will get tested, but they're pros. Their coaches are pros too. Coach Hotel and on a day like today, they're working games on the side. That's what they're doing in practice because you work on your deficiencies and make them a strength at some point. I have faith and they should be able to do that and get that done.
Does the communication happen mid-play on things like that, or have you communicated prior to the play or prior to the game? Hey, if the edge tries to switch mid-play and they run that game up front and you've got an edge moving inside and a D-tackle trying to go outside, when do you communicate about who's getting who?
All the time. It's in film. That's where those, I'm sure a day like today, they're probably getting together to watch film together as a unit.
Sure.
Hey, when this guy's a little bit wider as in wide 3, he's a little bit tighter, game's coming. Hey, these two guys like to work beside each other in games. This is when it comes. Situationally, they've run 12 games in the last time they've been together on the same side. It's so much that goes into it. Look at the stagger of the feet. A lot of things go into it, Will.
You were looking at the Miami film. They didn't get a great pass rush.
No. They did not.
On Tua. And look, that offensive line in front of Tua isn't anything to really gloat about.
No, not one of the better ones around. But yes, you're 100% correct. That rush wasn't that great in that game. Miami had 3 sacks because Tua ran out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
One future Titans opponent has now ruled out a defensive star for the next 8 weeks. We'll tell you who that is coming up next. We'll also reset the headlines from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park yesterday and get ready to get into a college football conversation for our Thursday 3 coming up in hour number 4. All of my picks this week are in college football.
Nice.
All of them are favorites that I like. Very interested.
Very interesting.
To see what happens this weekend in the college football world. 615-737-1045. Hour 4 next on 1045 The Zone.
9 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans practice report came out yesterday where DeAndre Hopkins, Amani Hooker, and Traylon Burks all did not practice, although Burks was excused from practice with a personal matter. Christian Fulton, Tierra Tart, and Tajay Spears were all limited, while Trey Avery and Dylan Radence practiced fully. To the Chargers practice report also contained several starters in Joey Bosa, Eric Kendricks, Austin Eckler, and Dayon Henley all did not practice. Chargers signed some insurance in the form of running back Jarrett Patterson to the practice squad in case Eckler does miss some time. And Thursday night football, we got the game tonight with Eagles-Vikings kicking off in Philadelphia at 7:15. You can listen to that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Vikings are going to be without their center, Garrett Bradbury, their left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, and Marcus Davenport are all questionable. And the Eagles, they're going to be without starting corner James Bradbury and Kenneth Gainwell, while Fletcher Cox is also questionable. And breaking news within the last hour, Steelers Pro Bowl defensive lineman Cam Hayward having surgery to repair his groin today in Pittsburgh, per Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo. He's expected to miss about 8 weeks, and that'll be back midway through the season. He suffered the groin injury on Sunday against the 49ers. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning in RKW is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. 615-737-1045 is how you join in on the discussion. 60 minutes left on our Friday Junior show. We've got our Thursday 3 picks coming up in 20 minutes. Myself, Kayla, Bert, all 5-1. Ramon, 2-4, but room for improvement.
Yeah.
As we pick 3 games against the spread or against those totals every week in the world of college football, as well as the NFL. F&M Bank Chat, where you could join the conversation as well. YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, or Twitch. As you watch our beautiful faces while we talk with you. And take a lot of calls about Ryan Tannehill. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. Ramon out of the studio at a moment. My filibustering of all the things we can talk about has come to an end because there's food here.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
So he surprised us saying, I got some donuts coming out.
It's great.
I'm like, all right, I'm in.
It's outstanding.
Anytime we got donuts.
Wonder if I can pry one out of his hands.
Right?
We'll see. Who's to say?
There he is.
He's returned.
Yeah. Us talking about you getting donuts.
I said I'm curious if you'll allow me to pry a donut out of your hands. I'll
man, whatever you
pay
want.
you $1.
Man, shout out to our Uber driver too, man. I think he says T Rise. I forgot. I was on the way in hustling back. My bad.
You were Stanley on his way to Pretzel Day. Just
if you
what did
listening,
he say?
Nah, he was just like, listen, y'all, man, y'all the best thing going on the air. I was like, I appreciate that, man.
He knows ball.
Shout out to you,
All
man.
right, man. Maybe you give an extra donut in there.
He didn't. No, if he was delivering it, he would. But shout out to them. No, definitely. Good day. Walked up, ran up actually.
Yeah, you did. I could tell.
Yeah, ran up. I had to get back and go to work, man.
Well, a future Titans opponent has lost a major contributor on defense. Cam Hayward might not play against the Titans.
He's not going.
Out for 8 weeks with a groin injury.
That's tough. That's tough. Father Time gets us all.
That game November 2nd, so that's right at about 8 weeks.
Right at about 8 weeks. Yep. Coach T ain't going to put him out there if he ain't right. But it also depends on that record, too. It's going to be fascinating. They got Nick Chubb coming in to Pittsburgh without Cam Hayward up the middle. That's going to be a hard day at the office, man. That's a bruising dude. We're going to see how it looks on Sunday, though.
You're going to play a lot of Renegade.
I feel like the situation in Pittsburgh this last weekend is similar just to the feeling here. Not quarterback specifically, but it's similar because, like, that was a beatdown.
It was a beatdown.
And I'm sure you've been hearing the narrative over there the last week.
heard all the jokes and all everything.
Yeah.
And deservingly so, though. Just simply because Max Starks, who I was trying to get on this week, Max need to hit me back, too.
He does.
He had a comment apparently before that game and said that they look kind of flat, and they came out flat. San Francisco's a good team. When you go good on good and you're trying to develop yourself as a squad, you fall into moments where you get kicked in the teeth a little bit. And when you playing good teams like that, San Francisco didn't hold back. That was a good showing by San Fran.
Let's play blind quarterback resumes, shall we?
Let's do it.
Talking about Kenny Pickett, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, because you're talking about quarterback play there and the differences. So one of these quarterbacks is Kenny Pickett. The other one is a different quarterback. I'm going to have you guys guess who it is. This other quarterback has played double the games, 29 games to 14 games for Kenny Pickett. Both of them 63 point, one of them, the other quarterback, 63.6% completion percentage. Kenny Pickett, 63.4. Yards per game. Quarterback B has 199 yards per game. Kenny Pickett with 188 per game. 25 interceptions in 29 games for quarterback B. 11 interceptions in 14 games for Kenny Pickett. Quarterback rating for quarterback B is 83.3 for QBA. For Kenny Pickett, 75.8. Who is the other quarterback I'm comparing to Kenny Pickett?
And this is just the season?
I want to ask for.
No, this is career. Both of them in their career.
Both of them in a career? Marcus Mariota?
No.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh, Carson Wentz.
Nope.
Ooh.
Only 29 games played in their whole
Only
career.
29.
Daniel Jones? I don't know. No,
Trevor
it's not
Lawrence.
that.
Davis Mills.
Ooh.
Davis Mills
Mills?
statistically grades out better than Kenny Pickett so far in his career.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's tough sledding right there for the team up north. You shouldn't have told me that, Will.
I think the Kenny Pickett clock hasn't started yet. I'm not overwhelmed with his talent so far.
No, let's just give him a chance, guys.
No, shut up, Bert.
Let's give him a
Doesn't
chance.
concern you.
Work through it.
Does not concern you,
I
Bert.
saw that. I forget who put that on Twitter the other day, so apologies for not giving proper credit to who had that conversation. But people were comparing Davis Mills to Kenny Pickett in their rookie seasons. The difference is not big.
Yeah, that's tough right there. That's
Anyway.
a hard day at the office. And when you're not supported by a defense right now, because Christian McCaffrey's yard after carry, yards after contact, was insanely bad the other day for them. And that's so uncharacteristic. Beat the team when they're down is what I would tell you.
Mike Tomlin will get it figured out because he always does. But
that's the old adage.
Week one is a liar. We'll see.
Justin Fields was a good guess, too.
Look who texted me back. Max. He
Wait,
must have
is he
heard
listening? That's hilarious.
That's funny.
You're like, bro, you listening?
I can do 8:20 tomorrow if you still have space. There we go. We just
There
booked
we
the
go.
show.
You speak it into existence.
We got Mike Keefe at 8:20. Don't want
This is what our conversations sound like after the show, everyone.
It does. It does.
He did speak it into
I
existence.
did. I don't wonder who snitched on me. I was talking about
He
Max.
may just be, our show's up on Twitter. Max,
Yeah,
It
Max.
is.
I believe, follows the
We'll
show.
just say he listens.
Max, how are you?
Yeah. What were we saying before then? I'm so thrown.
Talking about Kenny Pickett and Davis Mills.
yeah.
Oh, Davis Mills and Kenny Pickett.
Mills Mafia.
When it comes down to what they got going on in Pittsburgh, you need to have a defense to support it. And Christian McCaffrey was him.
Yep.
That was embarrassing. And now you got Nick Chubb the next week.
Eek.
Eek.
So here's the big conversation yesterday from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Ryan Tannehill twice kind of denying to talk about the Saints game. About halfway through his press conference, this was the first occurrence of that.
Yeah, there's certain areas where reads where you're picking a side, picking a matchup, and you're not going to be able to see the other side of the field. It sucks when that happens, right? Whenever you are on the wrong side, but you see it happen across the league every week. I'm watching multiple games, and it happens, right? It's just part of playing the game. Feels good when you're on the right side, and then obviously sucks, when it happens on the backside.
Are there other times where there was maybe a check down opposite what you were looking at that maybe you could have gone to?
Man, you guys are trying to break down every play of the game, and there's a lot of areas where, I want to be better and look forward to be better this week.
That's where the frustration started to show, and then he essentially just said, we're on to L.A.
We did some good things, and then obviously some areas where we want to be better. But I thought those guys battled. We knew going in that they were a good front, strong front, and be no different this week. Obviously, with Bosa, with Mac, some big guys inside. a good secondary, right, that's very active. Got some length outside with 43 Davis. J.C. Jackson obviously has had a good career so far and made a lot of big plays and got his hands on a lot of balls. Derwin James in the secondary, a guy who's very active. He's coming in a lot of pressures. He's efficient and disruptive when he comes on those pressures, and obviously has the range on the back end. So you look at the defense as a whole, and you see a very capable group with talent all over.
Well, Ryan, did you know prior to the fourth down field goal to make it 16-15, did you know on that third down that they were going to kick on fourth?
No.
So did you think you had 2 plays to get the first down?
Guys, I just want to move on to San Diego. I'm not going to answer any more questions about what happened Sunday. What happened Sunday happened. I'm not happy about it. No one in this building's happy about it. But at the end of the day, it's over. We can learn from it. We can move on. And if you have any questions about LA, I'm more than happy to answer.
That is an off-script Ryan Tannehill right there yesterday. I did think it was interesting. Mike Vrabel, we don't have the audio of it, but essentially, we could just tell you what he said about 2 seconds, that it wasn't as much the decision-making from Ryan that was the issue. It was just the inaccuracy. And I think he made that clear on the back shoulder throw to DeAndre Hopkins that was intercepted. That's not technically the wrong decision in Vrabel's mind. You just can't throw back shoulder when the corner was positioned in the spot that he was.
Right.
And I think that some of these inaccurate throws, not including the Chig and Spears ones, but it's just forcing it to DeAndre Hopkins, who he's not played with in live game action. Trying to give your best receiver a chance, that's great, but he also should make those better decisions. Chris in the F&M Bank chat says, will be better. Ryan spent the first half of the presser answering questions. It was incessant badgering. Eventually you have to move on. As we've discussed all show, and as I said, teasing up that audio, yes, this was halfway through his press conference. And I understand the frustration. Chris, I actually defended him earlier in the show and said I get the frustrations and kind of like it.
To your point on DeAndre Hopkins, though, and you're right, like how much of it, too, was the first time with him out there? Like you feel like, okay, DeAndre Hopkins is him, right? He can catch anything.
Yes, he can.
He had 15 targets. That's a lot of targets in terms of what other guys got on Sunday. I feel like that's going to be different this Sunday. Like that's going to be spread out a little if DeAndre plays, obviously.
What I'm hoping is he don't get in his own head about trying to do too much, though.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to when it really comes down to Ryan Tannehill just trying to win this game. That's all he need to do is just put the car in drive and just
Can we
go.
say manage as much as you can?
No, you can't say that. People will start saying, hey, he's a game manager and it's a system. I'm joking. I'm being very kind.
But you're right, though. That is how it's taken
sarcastic
sometimes.
about that. Yeah, no. Absolutely, Kayla. Manage this game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do too much, man. First, just get your bearings under you.
Yeah, first and foremost.
615-737-1045. Coming up, the Thursday 3. Can we stay hot in the betting world? Picks against the spread in the NFL or college football or both coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Scoreboard Bar and Grill. Fall in Tennessee, y'all, means pumpkin spice. What? No, I'm sorry. It means football, okay? And Scoreboard is ready to celebrate it with Low Country Bowls, football, and the best live music in Nashville. Now, with 2 great locations. The original one across from the Grand Ole Opry, and now on the shores of Old Hickory Lake at Cedar Creek. If it's a Thursday, which is today, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night, both Scoreboards will have all the games, food, and music you want. Whether it's by boat, Harley, truck, or chopper, you can land at either location. And if it's football time, it is Scoreboard time. So join 3HL this Friday from 3 to 6 as they broadcast live from the newest Scoreboard Cedar Creek location. And listen up, y'all. They'll have great giveaways and half-off drinks from 3 till 6. If you want some free UT versus UTSA tickets, register to win while you hang out with 3HL. A winner will be drawn at each location during halftime of this weekend's UT Florida game. Mark your calendars and get that appetite ready. Low Country Bowls with crab, shrimp, and all the fixings are back every Saturday from noon to 5. Scoreboard, Cedar Creek on Old Hickory Lake.
Time for the Thursday 3 on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Check out our podcast channel wherever you download podcasts as well. If you got to head out of the car, maybe the 9 to 5 is starting, the boss walks over, whatever's happening, we've got you. We're going to make you some money. If you've been taking our picks over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you include week 0, but 2 weeks of officially picking, you would be 17-7.
That's pretty good.
Now, granted, some of these picks are one person going against the other, so you wouldn't actually be 17-7. But us all together, we have 17 wins and 7 losses in betting. That is outstanding.
Not bad.
So let's keep that up, gang.
Let's keep it going.
Last week, Kayla goes 2 for 3. Eagles -4 at New England hits. Titans +3 at Saints hits. Auburn let Kayla down at
By just
Cal.
a little bit.
Robert and I were both 3-0. My Wake Forest Demon Deacons -10 against Vandy. Titans Saints under 42. Notre Dame -7.5 at NC State. Robert gets Utah barely.
By a hair.
By a nose, like my Kentucky pick in week 1. Colorado -3.5 against Nebraska. Yeah, barely again. And Ravens -10 against Houston. So you had 2 blowouts that went in your favor.
Nice.
And then Ramon goes 1-2. 1 for 3. Misses Pittsburgh +2.5 against San Fran.
That was terrible.
Misses Vandy +10 at Wake. So Ramon's Commodores let him down. And but he did get Lions +4.5 against Kansas City.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was tempted to give you bonus points because you did just pick them to win also, I'm pretty sure. The Lions.
I did. Yep, I did.
Yep.
So maybe, I don't know, we can introduce some kind of wrinkle late in the season that if you want to pick an upset money line, then it's worth 2 wins. But if you lose it, it's worth 2 losses.
Ooh, that's
I don't hate that.
a little
I
crazy.
don't hate it at all. Maybe that's late in the season.
Betting on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So we keep Kayla in front since she was in first after week 1. Robert and I tied in second. Well, really, we're all tied for first, but Ramon is then in fourth. But that's okay. There's room for improvement.
There's room for improvement. I got it this week, 100%.
All right, so Kayla, you lead us off with your first pick.
I'm going to start off with some college football, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Missouri, where the Missouri Tigers are hosting the Kansas State. I don't even know what their
Wildcats.
mascot. Wildcats. Yes, there we go. Wow. Kansas State, by the way, sneakily a team in the top 25 this year, kind of picking up from where they left off last year, the 15th ranked team in the country, who looks very good early on. Yep. Look, this is a potent offense that the Wildcats have right now with Will Howard. I just feel like Missouri, although they are 2-0, I think there's a lot of faults in their game. There's a lot of cracks and crevices that, will be seen this weekend, even in their home stadium, which, by the way, I think Will has made clear is kind of like a high school stadium.
It's very much like a high school stadium.
You've been there.
It's a high school environment.
Exactly. So Kansas State -4.
That is also my first pick.
Oh.
We were on the same boat for this. Kansas State is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. Missouri, meanwhile, is 2-5 against the spread in its last 7, including a narrow victory over Middle Tennessee State over the weekend. Give me Kansas State -4.5, the line on that one.
Okay.
For myself as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had the half or
yes,
not.
I did.
Because I had it as the half as well. Yep. And if we're all going that way, it's also on my list. Might as well punch it. Brady Cook wasn't bad. He was fine. But I just don't know if they can pull it out. So I'm at 4.5 with you guys.
Okay.
All right, for sure. All 3 of y'all have gone?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go college, too, on this one, my first one. I was going to go last on this because it's such a hot take. But Georgia, South Carolina. Georgia's favored by 27.5 points. I'm actually I got South Carolina covering for these reasons right here. Spencer Rattler's had a good showing. Yes, they've been below the line in some of the games they've been in, but he has a good showing. He's 83.3% completion rating right now. He is throwing really well, although his offensive line protected him, which may be the biggest issue going against Georgia. He's been sacked 9 times already in 2 games. But here's the thing. I don't know if y'all been watching Georgia, just keeping up with them too. Georgia has been oozing out of the starting blocks a lot lately. 17 points in the first game against UC Martin in the first half. Okay? Vols fans, you hear that? Georgia, 17 points in the first half, okay? And then they had no score in the first quarter last weekend against Ball State. Georgia quarterback situation has to be figured out. For those reasons, I think, of course, Shane Beamer does this. It seems like he's got one every year to where he's just, watch me do something cool. I think they covered this game right here. So I got South Carolina covering.
I considered this one and thought about going the other way because South Carolina they're still giving up sacks to North Carolina.
They are.
Since our show started this morning. And that Georgia defensive front might have 10 sacks, which made me consider going Georgia. But first SEC game, hard to know what to expect. South Carolina's frisky in games like this occasionally. So I didn't touch it. But let me look at what that number is, Ramon. So we put it on the record now because we want to put these numbers down now because if they change between now and then.
27.5.
Let's see if it's changed.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is Ramon's first pick.
Yeah.
South Carolina plus 27.5.
Okay.
Kayla?
So my second pick, I'm going to go to the NFL for this one. This is a little bit of I think you could go either way, but I am going to go with Green Bay at -1 is what I had last seen it at. They're in Atlanta. So two former coaches with the Titans. You got Matt LaFleur, who's in Green Bay.
Yep.
You've got Arthur Smith that's in Atlanta. You've got two very young quarterbacks, both which had great week 1 showings for the most part. I just feel like I saw a little bit more out of Jordan Love and kind of what he's gotten out of sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for the last couple of years. I like the weapons he has with Aaron Jones. So I'm going to go ahead and take Green Bay just for that fact. I know it's on the road. I know it's still early on, but give me Green Bay in this one.
Aaron Jones, who is hurt, by the way.
Oh, is he hurt? Okay.
Yes.
I'm still going with that.
Fair. Yeah, Aaron Jones' hamstring did not practice yesterday.
Oof. So
leading into the matchup with the Falcons. I'm going to go with a Pac-12 versus Big Ten matchup. Give me Washington -16.5 at Michigan State. And here's why. Losing Mel Tucker, obviously, for this one is a big deal. The distractions around the Michigan State program, which are disgusting, to be honest with you, adds to the fact that Michigan State is 2-12 against the spread in its last 14 games against Pac-12 opponents. Meanwhile, Washington 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. This line, guys, opened at 4.5.
Really?
But with all the off-field stuff going on and the Mel Tucker issues and his suspension, this thing has now ballooned to a 16.5-point spread for Washington in East Lansing. Give me the Huskies -16.5.
Okay.
Yeah, that stuff is blown up there for sure. Huskies look good too. So, okay, I like it.
There you go.
Headed to the ACC, Duke taking on Northwestern this week. Duke, who would have thought that their football team?
Not me.
Not us, not nobody. Not even them. I don't even think they knew they were going to be this good.
I don't think they know they have a football team over there.
Duke is at home against Northwestern. And I've been really surprised by Mike Elko's defense, right? Clemson, the only reason they scored a touchdown against them was because of a muffed punt. Lafayette last week could only score 7 points. Their defense is rocking. So I'm going to go Duke at home -20. I think they can handle Northwestern pretty handedly. That is a big spread, but we're going to ride it.
Okay.
Solid.
Battle of ACT scores. In Durham.
Boom.
Ramon, pick number 2.
Pick number 2, I'm going to go to NFL. Chicago, Tampa. No, just thinking, well, ain't nobody going to be watching those games. But this is the game that should tell all, man. I think Tampa's almost in tank mode and Chicago's in thrive mode, okay? Tampa did win last week.
They did?
They did. Baker Mayfield went off. He did his thing, man. Chicago lost, and he lost ugly, too. I'm actually picking Chicago to cover. The spread right now is 2.5. I got Chicago.
-2.5 at home?
-2. I'm taking the plus 2.5.
Oh, plus 2.5 on the road. Okay.
Yes, plus 2.5. I'm taking Chicago.
I like
just
that
for this reason right here. Baker Mayfield always does that yo-yo effect.
Oh,
he gets shooting and he drops you off. He gets shooting and he drops you off. And this is the other thing too. Word out of Chicago is this: Justin Fields has been told, stop thinking. Stop trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
Forget your mechanics. Go play football. The times last year that we saw him going for 70 yards, he was just being him. They basically just be the athlete, man. Screw this box of you having to be a passing quarterback. Screw that. So because of that, I see him going off against Tampa this weekend. I'm taking Chicago plus 2.5.
And I think, too, Chicago.
And Chase Claypool went viral. I've never seen an NFL player with that amount of effort on the field. He has to do something.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way. Oh, it was ugly. Go ahead, though, Will.
Dude was literally walking like it was a walkthrough to block. And when he was the backside receiver, just literally jogging through his routes.
I don't know how much longer he'll be in the league. That's just me, though.
Wow.
Yeah, the thing with Chicago is they are notoriously just god-awful against the Packers. Week 1 for them might have been as much about their curse against the Packers as it was them not being a great team. I think Chicago is still going to be frisky this season. We'll see. Okay, Caleb, third pick.
All right, so we're going back to college, and Bert, by no means did I mean to do this to Bert's not even back
Bert's
there.
not even in the studio to hear
good.
your slander.
Let me get this real quick then.
I'm in the corner.
Dang
back.
it. Okay,
Always
this is
lurking.
nothing against your team
He was in the shadows.
whatsoever. However, I had to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and go with what I think, Bert, is a little bit of a rivalry between East Carolina and App State. So it is at App State, and despite a loss last weekend for the Mountaineers, it was a good game against number 17 North Carolina, and they put up a valiant effort. Unfortunately, East Carolina just struggling to score some points this year. I just think the Mountaineers are going to overwhelm them, especially in their play. So I'm going to take App State -9.
My first football game ever, college football game, was East Carolina versus App State.
Really?
The last East Carolina kickoff return was by Lance Ray. It was a 103-yard kickoff. My very first football game, my very first snap of college football, watching it, was a kickoff return. So
Nice.
not really a rivalry there.
Okay.
They got more beef with the other Central North Carolina schools, but Sean Clark at App State runs a hell of a program.
Yeah.
And if you play that game against Carolina last week a couple times, they probably win a handful of them.
Mhm.
So I don't think App State is as far down the pecking order as people think they are.
Yeah.
So no offense taken. I didn't mean to filibuster
thanks,
there that
Bert.
long. But
I just want to make sure.
yeah, no, for sure. And are we going Tennessee or what? Are we doing this or
Oh,
what?
I got it. Hold up. I got it. Can I do it?
You don't play don't play stuff off your phone. We have a computer for
No,
that.
Bert's not ready. Bert's not ready.
What?
Nope, not even that one. Not even that one. We ready?
What are you doing?
What?
Oh, he's playing the
doing
slow
it.
one.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds surprisingly good. Just
I
phone
love
through the
it.
microphone.
It does. Ooh, chills. Ooh.
Don't you?
Tennessee -6.5. Let's all
love
say it
that
in unison.
rendition. I like that rendition more, I think.
Listen, I knew y'all are going to take it, but don't anybody ever say one cross thing about me not being a rider. Because if my boys
Yes.
are riding on
Come
something
on.
deep, I'm a
Speak
ride
with
in
your
there right
chest.
with them. So Tennessee, 6.5 in the swamp. Go ahead.
Tennessee -6.5. The Vols in their last 15 games are 11-4 against the spread. That's enough for me to say, look, the Tennessee defense that stops the run as well as anybody in college football against a Florida offense that only knows how to run the football. And when they only ran it for 13 yards against Utah, they got their tails whipped in that small stadium they were talking about before the game against the Utes. Give me Tennessee all day long. I think demons get vanquished. I think the ghosts are sent away
Come on.
this weekend in the swamp.
Come on, Will. I'm trying to be cool. I'm taking.
You don't have to be cool. You can express
You're right.
it.
You're right.
Express yourself.
We going in, man. Hey, drop it, okay? That's all I'm telling you. We here for it. You doggone right, man. Give me my. You know what that sound is, man. The blue out, whatever you want to call it. Yes, Bert. All of them, man.
It feels so good to type Tennessee -6.5 in all of these lines right now.
I say that because of this, man. This team is way different than No, stop that. Let's speak facts here. The defense is solid. They have more speed than they have before. Getting Cooper Mays back, if he does play, and there's still a chance that he might not, but if he's at center, I feel way better about it too because of the poise of the noise.
Yep.
People speak about the crowd when it comes down to the Gators, right? Playing in the swamp. I've been there. I've experienced. It is real. It's very real, okay? But that offense moves fast. If Joe's on him, that running game is quick. How can the crowd get loud if they're resetting the sticks every single time too? So because of that reason right there, and because of Florida's quarterback situation, I don't know if he's going to be able to move the pocket the way he needs to. Ricky Pearsall is solid. I'll
But
give
what
him
did I
that.
say you all need to do?
To cap him.
I want him to knock. I
Cap
want
him.
them to knock that mouthpiece Out his mouth.
Yeah, that was a great
Aggressive.
sound right there. With that being said, stopping what is it, Cook's brother? Who's
Etienne.
Etienne's
yeah.
brother. So many running back
Trevor
brothers.
Etienne.
And Trevor Etienne. Stopping Trevor Etienne will be crucial. If they can do that up front, Omar, Big O, the entire group, that rush package with Tyler Barron in the game. These are just facts in front of us. And also, I'm not even sure if Robert Pierce got a sack last weekend.
James Pierce.
Jeez, I'm everywhere
one.
with this. He got one last weekend.
Since he had 8 sacks against Austin Peay. Pretty much everybody had one.
Golly. I like the rush. And Florida's
Yeah.
offensive line is newly built. Let's go.
I agree with you, and I think ultimately this game is won on the ground either way. If Johnson and Etienne can run for Florida, I think they have a lot of success. But I think ultimately, guys, Tennessee runs the ball for 250 yards in this game. That is my take on this. Tennessee runs for 250. And I don't think Joe Milton has to do that much to win this game. This is not a good Florida team.
Yeah.
If this was the same roster playing against Tennessee in Kentucky uniforms, Tennessee would probably be a 10-point favorite. Instead, they're a 6.5-point favorite, maybe even a 14-point favorite.
And I'll say this, too, for the teams that's been in the spot that Florida's in where you're teetering on being good or being bad and the coach being on a hot seat and actually having job security, that crowd will be out quick. It's a night game. They've already had their feels as far as the party and the experience of the game. If Tennessee jumps up and plays competitive, I'll just say that if Tennessee controls the line of scrimmage and dominate, stuff changes at that point right there.
I think they're the better roster on defense, offense, and I think they're the better coach team.
Yeah. I'll
Period.
give this.
Oh, God, here we go.
Don't turn him up like this. Actually, no, please do. Turn us up.
Where we at?
This is such a good rendition. Ooh.
You remember they dropped
hard.
that in the stadium?
They did.
That hits hard.
Where we at? Come on, man. Ball's my fitty.
Not even October.
Birds. All right. That's it. We'll save it for Friday.
Yeah, save the drop for tomorrow at the
We'll
end of the
save it
show.
for Friday, man. Ooh.
That's really good.
By the way, too, it's my first time ever hearing like a real in-depth conversation with Joe Milton. It was on ESPN last night. I was listening to them. Very fascinating story. You know, he's got a 1-year-old sister.
Yeah.
Right now.
He does.
Him being the older brother, him speaking about like he's built for what he's gone through.
Sure.
Being the oldest, having to inherit a lot of stuff. And honestly, just putting his family on his back, which a lot of young players do whenever they get in these situations, man. So if you don't like Joe, you question Joe, what's going on, hear his story a little bit and just understand. And that's a lot of football players too and athletes. Sometimes the person behind those jersey numbers, you love them. I know you hate to play sometimes, but you love them. I gained a different perspective on Joe Milton and hearing his press because ESPN has the game and everything, so he's doing all of that right now.
And let's just say they've been planning for Florida for a second. Just going to say that.
They have been.
Gotta
You
say
can
that.
tell. You can tell.
We close out the show coming up next, 615-737-1045. The picks this weekend in full. Ramon Foster at the bottom of the standings so far.
I actually feel like I got solid picks this week.
I do too.
Okay, thank you.
South Carolina plus 27.5 at Georgia. Chicago plus 2.5 in Tampa. Tennessee minus 6.5 in the Swamp. Robert goes K-State minus 4.5. Duke minus 20.5. Tennessee minus 6.5. I'm going Tennessee minus 6.5. Washington minus 16.5. Kansas State against Mizzou also minus 4.5. Kayla does that as well with Green Bay minus 1 at Atlanta. And App State minus 9.5 against Bert's ECU Pirates. All right.
Cool.
There we go. Thursday 3. Coming up, headlines we missed, headlines on the way out as we get you on your way. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for my PhD weight loss, man. I had somebody the other day, I told you guys at the gym, tell me, hey, man, you look good. Look like the diet's working. Mickey Ryan hit me up the other day, too. I was like, hey, man, when you hit 73 pounds, we got to have a party around. I was like, hey, let me continue to do work here. And that's one thing I want to tell you about, too, is the guarantee of the work. The guarantee is this. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight by the end of your program, my PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. That's one of the best things about it is the support that you'll have, okay, from working with my PhD weight loss. They're sincere about it. Your plan is specifically for you, and it's nothing that's cookie cutter. It's specifically for you. I can't stress that enough. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety about losing weight or how to go about it or who to talk to. I'll tell you this, on average, most male clients lose between 3 to 5 pounds a week, and female clients lose between 2 to 3 pounds a week. Again, this is something you've been thinking about before heading into the fall. Visit myphdweightloss.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Show on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, right here on 104.5 The Zone. Make sure you check out the podcast if you missed our conversation with Coach Mack. Thursday 3, Q's and K's, everything in between. 615-737-1045, the number on the last call for phone calls. Aaron Rodgers quoted Batman yesterday. That was fun.
Nice.
His first public comment since his season-ending injury says, "I'm heartbroken and moving through all the emotions, but deeply touched and humbled by the support and love. Please keep me in your prayers and thoughts as I begin the healing process today." And then he says, "The night is darkest before the dawn. I shall rise yet again."
Ooh.
He's headed back to that darkness retreat, boy.
There he is. Yes, he is, man.
Man, he just doesn't want to. He wants to keep going, huh?
He does. I'll say this too. I didn't want to see him injured or get taken out like that. I think he's good for the game. I did want to see him get beat. I didn't want to see him get beat by the turf, though. You know.
I wanted to really see how that season played out. If he could really do what he was supposed to do with them, you know, with all the hard knock stuff. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if it played out or if it didn't.
Or how important the quarterback is.
Yeah.
That team is a stacked team. And, of course, I don't like this either because I believe everybody deserves a fair shake. The Zach Wilson hate or looking over his shoulder to see if there's somebody better than him. Why did y'all pick him? Is the GM still there? He's fired at this point.
That was a second overall pick.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was.
Like, man, goodness. You got him. Roll with him. It's y'all job to coach up players. I hate when coaches find cop-outs like that. That happens often in football, NFL too.
The night is darkest before the dawn.
What a silly thing.
I'm going to hear that again probably, aren't I? Yeah. It's fine. Russo is in Murfreesboro, waiting patiently to chime in, talking Titans with us this morning. Thanks for waiting, Russo. How are you?
Russo?
No problem. I listen to y'all all day, every day anyway.
Appreciate it.
Stay on hope.
You real.
Yeah, so look. Don't panic, guys. We got a long season, but I think that Derrick Henry will be preserved for the harder work later on. And I think we're going to dominate some teams that everybody think we should lose against. And I think the Saints were actually a pretty great team, especially on defense, passing defense. I mean, come on now. Their stats last year was crazy. But I think if we don't panic and if Tannehill keeps his, I guess, chip on his shoulder, that's actually good for him. I think this first jitter game, getting out of the way, is kind of good for him too, so he can release everything that he's been going through the offseason, trying to get these emotions out. He's been ready. So, you know, when you're super ready to get started, you might drop a ball or drop the game on that day, you know. And my last question to you, Ramon, is how long will it take before he loses the locker room's confidence in him?
Yeah.
Thank you, Russo. Appreciate the call.
It ain't how long it'll take, it's how much he does. And when I say that, Russo, man, one, thanks for holding on and shouting us out, but it comes down to his ability to make plays. Players know when guys have drops or interceptions. Like, you side-eye the heck out of them. It ain't a how long situation, Russo. It's a how much. He goes out and have 2 back-to-back multiple interception games and you lose. I mean, that could be week 3 before the team know that, you know, because that's something that you can control. Either you need to study a little bit more when it comes down to film or you need better decision-making. Those things right there, teammates know. They know that.
Yeah.
I don't get the vibe the locker room's going to turn on Ryan very quickly. I'm more worried about the fan base completely turning on him and booing him off the field after 1-3 now.
Openly, they won't, Will.
You know my feelings, though, on booing your own team. I think it's never a good idea. Do what you want, obviously. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I just think it's very counterproductive. Like, yeah, sometimes they deserve it, but, like, I don't know. I'd rather not ever boo your own team.
Their teammates won't be out on them, though, to your point, though, about them being out on them, but their conversation starts to change a little bit.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
They give a little bit more effort if one of the new guys come in.
Was that different in college, though, too? Because I feel like in college, sometimes you have a little bit more of a mutiny for a backup because guys come in a recruiting class with someone.
Yep.
That's not the case in the NFL when you don't have recruiting classes and there's not the same pride in your draft class. as you have in like, hey, us class of 2015 guys, we're good. Like that's how we were in track. Like it's like, hey man, this is on us.
Yeah.
We all got to stick out for each other first, then the rest of the team.
That's true. That's very true too. But it does come down to looking at his contract situation, situationally, what he's kind of been through too. Like you said, you have no choice but to deal with him because he's guaranteed paid at this point. But there's also a portion of this group, if Levis or Malik is making plays in practice, those players will see that and would probably, try to cling to that too.
Yeah.
One thing we're not going to see, though, is those players will never show that to us because this is something Mike Vrabel has done a good job at as well, is that culture. You're never going to see those guys ever come out and say anything or ever show that. Like, it's just how it is. Look at how they lost 7 in a row last year. They kept it pretty well together for that.
Losing exposes a lot more, though.
Yeah.
I agree, though, that publicly you're never going to see the cracks.
No.
There may be privately. But that's one thing Mike Vrabel, you can always count on. Got to play better, got to coach better. Don't make it about the team.
Yeah.
I said, got to play better, got to coach better. Robert immediately. Sorry to be from me.
Coach
Trying to get rid of me. It's all right.
Everybody get one.
We're going to have a big day tomorrow previewing Tennessee, Florida, and Titans Chargers. Tom McCarthy from CBS Sports. He'll be on the play-by-play call on the television side. He'll join us. Of course, Mike Keith on the Titans radio side before Titans radio's 500th broadcast. We'll stop by tomorrow at 8:20. Of course, Brent Hubbs of AllQuest at 7:20. And any of your energy towards Tennessee, Florida, we accept it. We absorb it. We encourage it tomorrow. Just match what we had a minute ago and what Ron Slay's been doing all week.
No doubt.
Just match half of Slay's energy. You'll be just fine. Back at it tomorrow morning at 6. The Buck Rising Show is up next.
And you must remember at all times, good people, your Twitter fingers and Mike is always hot.
Go Vols.